Get out! Shit, I think of these backwards. That's why they're backwards, you stupid asshole. They were backwards. I was wondering why they sounded different than normal. Ah, that's okay. You can hear me talk, Daddy. I have a buttery voice. I get paid well for this voice. I get paid very well for this voice. Can you hear it? Oh, yeah, baby boy. Oh, oh. She thinks my tractor's sexy. Hi, need some insurance? Very sexy. Very, very sexy. All right. Hey, welcome back to the Bonded with Horror show. We're here on a special edition Friday night, Friday evening, if you would. 9 o'clock, a little after that at Eastern time. I mean, we're pretty close. Fashionably late to our own funerals is what we're all going to be. I know I will be, anyways, right? We're also sponsored by a bunch of people. Not actually, but I'm going to pretend like I am. You're going to see us all drinking something fun tonight. So hopefully everybody's with us. Hopefully everybody's in for the ride and going to have some fun with us. Hopefully you're partying. Cheers, everybody that's out there. Hey, I'm Eddie Vegas, also known as George.
That was it.
No?
Just George.
Oh, yeah.
I'm also known as George. Or am I?
I was waiting for somebody to finish the Lutz part, but
Nope.
I figured somebody would have kicked and be like, "Oh, Lutz," but
Yeah, you're a fucking klutz.
all right,
Yeah, we're
all
not.
right. I'm fucking Eddie Vegas. You guys know who I am. Let's go for it. Go ahead.
I am Joe Walsh, also known as JC Walsh, writer of Not George.
Handsome son of a bitch.
That's true.
Handsome son of a bitch.
What up, baby boys? You know me as Daddy Scrooge. How's it going, everybody?
Daddy Scrooge.
Daddy Scrooge. That's what I don't know. I've been slowly changing it.
Daddy Scrooge.
Oh, fuck yeah,
Daddy
man. Daddy.
I made sure to wear my finest Western shirt to not completely cosplay, but my beard's getting a little gray. It's getting a little fuzzy. I made sure to fuzzy it up a little bit, get a little crazy and spooky, and made sure to wear my finest Western after Mr. Lutz. I don't think I quite pull off Reynolds. In my mind, I do, but I would say I'm a little bit more close to James Brolin. You know, I mean, I would give myself that much credit anyway. You know, got the nice deep voice and smoky eyes, even though you can't.
You're almost like a
black
mishmash.
Yeah, a little bit, right? I'm trying. I don't quite have the '70s do, but it's not bad, right? Nice and fluffy. So
Modernized.
I feel like we're giving away a little bit. Obviously, what we're doing. If you are following along on the Instagram page and the Bonded by Horror page, we're gonna get some more social media stuff out there. We're gonna get some more plugs out there in a little while, also. But If you aren't aware of what we're doing tonight, somehow if you missed it, that's fine. Joe is going to tell everybody what's going on. He's the one who came up with the idea for tonight's episode, the special event. So give everybody the scoop. What are we doing tonight, boy?
We are going to do one of my favorite segments I used to write about, well, still plan on writing about at some point, called Original versus Remake.
Yep.
So essentially, we break down the original movie, original film, and its remake, bastardized or loved it or not. What depends what, we'll let you know the end. And then this one would be Amityville Horror.
Fuck yeah.
A
Spooky.
classic, much loved classic with a lot of people, and much
Yep.
hated remake actually. But there's this everybody in between, and we are the in between.
We're definitely the in between. I feel like it's gonna surprise everybody, being that we're all horror, but like we really all are horror buffs, the way we are, what we love and what we're into. And I think it's gonna surprise people our opinions on it, but we could be swayed. When we came up with the idea, when Joe proposed the idea to us, I know the 2005 remake very, very well. I saw it twice when it came out in the movie theater. And one of those times, once I get a couple more cocktails in me, this is my first one, everybody. I'm drinking New Amsterdam vodka and some seltzer water, low calorie, low carb, and all kinds of fun. Anyways, um, what was I gonna say? Yeah, so I have a really funny story about the first time I got to see it in the movie theater, which you'll hear about later on after we review that half of it. I have been dying to say it on so I might have even told it on a podcast. No, I never told it on Three Dudes. So if one of those guys are watching, you haven't heard this story, I promise. But I think what we're going to do is we'll probably the way we've been doing this. I like the format. We're essentially going to free flow some of our favorite scenes, some of what we're setting up. This one's the this is the first time we're doing serious horror movies though too. Like I'm not saying that Pet Cemetery 2 wasn't serious. It's not though. It's more of a rock and roll it's got some serious parts, but it's more black comedy than it is anything
It's a
else.
fucking music video.
Yeah, it is.
It's a music video.
This one was a little bit of a music video too, because the director, a lot of the remake directors were
The
music
remake
video
one.
people.
Yeah, well, Michael Bay was involved in it and all
Yeah,
that. But I'm talking
that was during all the Platinum Dunes era when they were doing that.
Yeah.
They did Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw, which by the way, I would love to do that. That comparison.
down.
That's the next one I want to do.
For sure, the next OG versus remake is 100% Texas Chainsaw because I love both. I'm a huge fan of the original and a huge fan of the remake. So
yeah, I want to play off something you just said. I wrote it down for later, but since you said about because this one does have some serious content to it,
yeah,
and it involves a lot of like family dysfunction, and we do touch on like abusive authority parents and stuff like that, or parent. And it's interesting because Pet Cemetery 2 had that, even though it was like you said, more of a dark comedy, but it had that era with the bullies and then the stepfather, and then even Army of Darkness had like a toxic male. It's like, okay, well, we got a theme going over here.
We can't escape the theme.
It's true. I mean, it's an easy. Some things are easy targets. They hit home. Especially with
I think that's a lot of stuff. Yeah.
I think with the more serious tone movies, like we all kind of grew up a little bit different with our own past and stuff. So I know why this movie, or these movies, I should say, because we're gonna be reviewing two movies tonight. And I know I think watching back, I haven't seen the remake in a while, even though I've seen it a bunch of times, and I saw it in the movie theater twice. Rewatching it last night, it's weird, like looking at it through like adult eyes. It's been how long ago did that come out? 16 years ago.
2005.
2005. Yeah. That's insane to me. So there are things that I'm going to talk about, like it does hit home. It kind of like you can kind of see like why it might have affected me more and why I might have had such a love affair with it when it first came out, or why it hit so personally to me, when it first came out. Nowadays, we'll get into that. I don't want to spoil that because I think what we're gonna do is it's all based off of the OG, right? So I think we're gonna kick it off by talking about and dissecting the original, the 1979 version. And what we love about it, what we don't love about it, things like that, and then that'll transition into us breaking down the second movie. The first one's about a half hour longer than the remake, so obviously it deserves.
I wrote down 2 fucking hours. I forgot it was a 2 hour long movie. So I put it. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's 2 hours long, and you fucking feel it. Like you feel 2 hours in that movie. That movie. Yeah. We're not gonna no spoilers yet, but you feel 2 hours. Where the other one it's fucking fast.
It's an hour and a half.
It's fast. It just goes.
With that, I will say I was a fucking idiot. I started watching. I queued up the original at like 12:30 at night, and I was watching it on HBO. And I had work the next day, so I had to be up at 7. And I was like, wow, what a fucking idiot I was. And, like a reasonable human being, I could have just stopped it and just, watched it later on. No, I powered through and I watched the whole thing.
No.
That's impressive. I went past out.
I wrote
Yeah, me and you both.
I wrote too many notes.
Even this is gonna be tough.
I wrote too many notes on it,
fun.
but I'm gonna try not to go off.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to go off of not going. I'd rather do free flow on this.
Here's the thing. We're gonna. That's what we do. We're gonna free flow it. And also, anybody that's live. So Ben has the helm as far as being able to see any interaction. So if anybody's commenting or trying to say hello to us, don't be afraid to chime in on some of the scenes if you've seen them, or if you're if you understand what we're talking about, or if you have questions about what we're talking about, we can try to dissect it a little bit more. I don't know the original as well as I know something like a Pet Sematary 2, so I can't break it down as far as like the actors and things like that as well as I can with certain movies that I have like love affairs with. I can do that a little bit better with the remake, which you'll see. I know I just know I have a little bit more to say about that one, but
I just know Josh Brolin came out of George's dick.
Yeah, wild, right?
Wait,
James Brolin. Like,
James, yeah.
No. So Josh Brolin, guy who played Thanos in Cable, is his dad is George Lutz in the first.
No, I know that. Yeah. I know.
Yeah, he's saying it's amazing that Josh Brolin came out of George Lutz's dick.
I'm an idiot. I don't.
He would have been way cooler.
Why are you so fucking stupid?
Now, really quick, I didn't even think about this, but there's a little bit. I mean, in a weird alternate reality, then, right? Think about Deadpool 2 and Cable and Josh Brolin being Cable, and think about who plays Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds. Who does Ryan Reynolds play in the remake? Could have been his dad, bro. Damn,
Thanos. Thanos is Deadpool's dad.
I've only ever had half of this beverage so far.
And you're already breaking fourth walls.
What a fucking wild ride.
Before I even forget, I gotta throw this out there. I'm drinking a Stickman Brews.
Nice.
Their number 2, which is a chocolate cherry dark sour oak age. I can't even read now. Oak age, delicious beer. Shout out to my new friend Matt who helped me out pick the. He works there when my wife and I went to first check it out, and he
that's a local place.
Hooked us up. Yeah, it's they have other locations, but they just opened in South Philly just recently and get the little sticker. There we go.
Oh, fuck
very nice, very cool.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Awesome.
Shout out Stickman Brews then.
That's right.
Fuck yeah, man. I'll try to. I'll remember to this and send it to you too. So shout out to Stickman Brews. Hopefully, in the next couple months, it seems like the world's opening up a little bit, right? So you never know. Maybe maybe we'll take this traveling circus down to Philly and not only run the Rocky Steps, but we'll run them after we go to the brewery. You never know.
Sounds like a plan, man.
Sounds like a fucking great time to me. All right, so without further ado, let's dissect this demon, or the first demon. There's 2 demons here, right?
Demon.
So I don't know. So what it dawned on me last night that I thought I had seen the original one. Like I thought I remembered it better than what I did. I've seen a good chunk of most of it, or parts of it, or maybe I just. Turns out it was like a fucking, what do you call that? Like when you think something happened, it doesn't happen. Not deja vu, but
my god, so getting that later on. You guys are killing. This is gonna be creepy.
I think I could swear to God I've seen this movie a bunch of times, and watching it, I'm going. I think what it is I watch so many, like, I'm a fucking nerd, and I watch a lot of horror documentaries, which I started In Search of Darkness 2 yesterday.
Oh,
4 hours, but it's already awesome.
I'm gonna start that this weekend.
I think what happens with me is I watch a lot of like horror things like that, and that's how I find out about movies that I want to watch. I'm a big fan of Joe Bob Briggs, and his thing on Shudder. So I think I've just seen people talk about it, and I thought I had seen it. Like I've seen so many people talk about it, and I've seen scenes and clips that in my head, and I know that the remake so well. I thought I fucking saw this movie, and I don't think I've ever actually seen it. And I think I've maybe when I was young, but I just don't remember it. So there were parts that came to mind that I've definitely seen. I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. And then there were quite a few that I just they didn't even register to me. But a couple quick things just to kick it off. I know Joe's fucking salivating to get into this movie. I do like the way it starts off. I really do like the way the cinematography sets it up as well. I like the way this movie opens up compared to the. I like I don't want to see the problem with comparing two movies. I don't want to give too much away yet, but I prefer the remake's opening with the way they did Ronnie walking through the house. But I did enjoy this. I liked the way they did it. It fits well for its time. It's like they didn't actually show you him shooting anybody. I'm sure that was probably like a partly story and partly the time and partly the fact this movie was super low budget at the time. So you got to cut out as much as possible. They didn't have time to cast the fucking Ronnie and have him walk around and fucking shoot all the family like in the remake.
I wish.
Yeah, right. But I did enjoy the way they set that up. And one thing I'm going to say, because I wrote this down later on, and I'll probably retouch on it when it comes across my notes. But one thing I'll say right away that this movie did do better than the remake is they utilized the house. Like there are still shots of the house where they'll pan out and they'll light, the way they lit up the two main windows that look like eyes, they lit them up perfect, so they looked like they had like pupils in the middle, and they're red, or they did a really, really, really good job using the house and using its atmosphere and using its creepiness to like propel the story. The remake did not do that. I mean, it did it, but really like they really focused more on like the family and the horror that goes on with the family. This movie really did. I feel like they tried to utilize the house a little bit more. So I was impressed with that. It was better than I thought it was going to be. Back then they had to do things like that. They had to get creative with shots and fucking, like look at Halloween. I mean, that's one of the best ever. How many amazing still shots where Michael Myers is chilling in the background and all of a sudden he's not, and it builds that suspense and it builds that tension. And I feel like this movie took from that and that era, and really like propelled with that. And that fucking house is iconic. Like it's amazing that, the house is synonymous with killers, right? Think about like, the founding fathers of horror, like, fucking Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, things like that. Then you gotta have a house. Like, I would never thought like a house would be like a focal point of the, like a villain, but it was. They did a really good job with that. So I want to kind of give a quick shout out to that because I did like the way the movie set itself up. I did like how, again, they use like the gunshots with the rainstorm, and I don't know. I did enjoy that. That was cool, and I don't know if anybody else has anything to say about that stuff, as far as that goes. But go ahead, boys.
You want to go ahead, Ben?
If you guys have
Scrooge. My bad, Scrooge.
No,
Ben.
Oh, it's Ben, dude. Fucking no.
Stop it.
Oh, shush. That's formalities. And if anything, call me Daddy. No, everybody else does.
Not calling you that.
Daddy Scrooge.
Daddy. No. I
Daddy Scrooge, baby.
Daddy. No, I really like how fast they opened up in the movie comparatively. What did this come out? 70, 78?
79.
79. So you start off with Ronnie killing everybody, and then you start off with, I fucking adored the shot with the house, and it's all red, and it starts panning in, and I thought that shit was so beautiful, and they barely did it in the remake, barely. Like they did the opening, and there's stuff that I want to talk about with Ronnie and George, which I'm just gonna say right now, I thought it was weird that they didn't even bother talking about the fact that Ronnie also looked like George in the remake, and they try to go with that like immediately in the OG.
In the original.
Yeah, in the original.
Yeah, the original. I think that's how they got away I think that's how they got away with not casting another person to play Ronnie. Like,
they did something else different. We touched on it later. They did something different with the remake that worked.
No, it's that's something we can go into later. That they kind of make something new with the remake, which I like. No, but I really liked that. I thought it was the tone was a lot better in the OG comparative to the remake. Because if you think about it with the remake, it's just a gore fest. It's just the guy just walking in, bam, he's just killing everybody, bam, just shooting him right in the head. Whereas it's a lot creepier, and it's a lot more subtle with the original one, and I like that a lot. The music was fucking perfect. I really enjoyed it.
The score in this movie was great.
Fucking dude, phenomenal.
The sound design was well done. The score was well done. They did set that kind of stuff up pretty well.
For the time period, it was so good, man.
Yeah. Now, as far as like when it kicks in from there, when they're walking around the house to take a look at it, these scenes are a little bit different, which we'll get into a little bit more when we talk about the remake. But what was funny to me, I got to be honest, it's funny to watch, to look back at like time period movies in any form, especially something that, I mean, the 70s were a blink ago, right? Like we're all connected to that time frame. And it's funny that when they're walking around the house, George is George is like, oh, it's funny that what did he say? Something about he's complaining about how it's like they're standing alone, and he's kind of like not shitty to the lady, but he's trying to be like a tough man or whatever, and like wants to talk to his wife alone about the house, and he's like, oh, $80,000. I don't know if we can swing that. This house should be closer to 120. I'm like, motherfucker, please, a house on the water in fucking New York, like that's over near like Staten Island or something. That would be close to $1 million, if not more. Nowadays, like I live in an area that's right near water, and like I know what houses go for in my neighborhood, and it's funny. It is hard now to think about that, like with how crazy expensive houses have gotten. And back then, $80,000 for a house, for that fucking house, again, that's essentially like you could buy a mansion for that. Now you can't buy shit with that. Like, you have to like think about that for a minute. It's funny about the perception of like the time frames. That's all. You have to kind of like disassociate that part with your brain. But yeah, so I said that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with you guys. I have similar bullet points on that. And then I'm gonna go by memory. So since we're going to talk about the good stuff first, before I go on any rants about the bad stuff, which is funny, I didn't hate it as much as I, like when I watched it again last night, I didn't have that same amount of hate for it as I did before. Okay. I started liking more. I'm still going to rant, trust me, but like I started enjoying what I liked about it again. So it must have been a different mindset. It must have been all that research. It blew my brain up. So the creepy music, that's the first thing I always think of. I'm like, oh my gosh, should I be watching this late at night? I go from like 40 to like 8 years old all over again. Immediately I'm like, oh my gosh, you'll watch this like Sunday afternoon. And so that hits the still shots of the house, like you guys said, and like you said, it's throughout. It's different colors, it's different. They really make different angles, and they always focus on the eyes, like you said. Like the house always looks like a face. It's like it's just watching you. They really humanize. Yeah, they made it into a character.
The house is a character. It really is.
They humanize it, and that's what really puts the fear into this movie, and that it adds that atmosphere, it adds that build up. Like you guys said, 70s and 80s were like. Those years were owned. They owned the atmosphere. Yeah. Atmospheric of horror, of the quiet horror. They owned it. The gunshot scenes are very, and again, I'm gonna go with when I was a kid. Like the gunshots, this is like one of the first movies that freaked me out music wise. Freaked me out with like somebody coming in the house and shooting people. It was a family member doing this to his own family member, but still, it kind of like it still messes your head a little bit. So you can't help but feel like, oh my god, I'm gonna get shot in the middle of the night. So, and I saw this on TV. My mom wouldn't let me see it rated R on VHS. It's always on TV. So, but it's still effective. Yep. And those shots, the thunder, because like the thunder always like added to to like stifling the shots. So that was the thing then because this is we forgot to mention this is a real murder. This murder actually happened.
Yeah, it's a true story. It's based off a true story.
Based off a true story. Like we could go with speculation later, all the with the paranormal stuff, but the shootings happened. And so that stuff's freaky. That's a real horror right there. Whether it's home invasion or a family member just losing their shit. And again, they had a lot of dysfunctions too, unfortunately, that family that led to that a lot. And then jumping right into James Brolin and Margaret. Kidder.
Margot Kidder.
Margot Kidder. I always had the T. I added T, but I added L. There goes my brain.
Whatever.
It's like Margot Robbie, motherfucker.
I almost said that. I almost wrote Margot Robbie last night. I was like, wait a minute, no. I had a crush on this version of her as a kid over Princess Leia. I'm going to say that. So, typical horror nerd. Their characters are very authentic. Their acting is very authentic for a good portion of the movie. Like that, you could tell their relationship. You could tell they love each other. You could tell there's tension with finances. You could just see all of it within. Like, these two are trying to work things out and then talk with the realtor and stuff like that.
I feel like they did a good job. Like James Brolin looks like a blue collar guy. Like he looks like a dude that could own a construction company. Like he looks like that dude that is a little rough. He's a little tough. He's a little quiet. He's a little he's a little straightforward. There's really no pulling punches with him. And that's one thing I will say, as much as I do like the remake and as much as I'm a huge fan of Ryan Reynolds, he did a good job transforming himself into George Lutz, and I think that's the only movie you see him act that crazy. I don't think there's anything else like that with him. Well, maybe
Fan
there have been,
Wilder,
but
use you.
well,
Oh,
He's
yeah.
pretty
sorry.
crazy in that movie.
But he's so fucking, even with him with a grizzled beard, he's still so fucking pretty. Like it's hard to look at him and
Yes,
go,
he is.
you know what I mean?
And I
Like
think I'm glad
I
you
don't know,
mentioned. I
it's
think
tough.
they did that on purpose because like James Brolin had that, like kind of like '70s conservatism to him,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
blue collar conservative, where Ryan
Ryan
Reynolds
Reynolds.
had the blue collar, like more like you could tell he was like kind of, I wouldn't say hippie-ish, but he had more of a
He was
disco look.
He was a
Yeah.
little more, yeah. He was a little more laid back. He was a little more fun. He was a little more
Yep.
punchy with his lines. He was a little more like, he was a little more friendly too. Like he
Right.
was a little more likable as a character. Like if you put the two together, if they weren't crazy, say you were their neighbor, Ryan Reynolds, you're gonna walk up to and like he's gonna have a conversation with you.
Yep.
Fucking James Brolin, you're gonna be like, you're the guy who's gonna have one too many slits and fucking punch me in the mouth someday. I don't know if like we're gonna be friends, and I'm sure you're gonna help me fix my car, but like
You have a lot
you're
of natty
definitely gonna be
ices.
drinking. Yeah, you're gonna be drinking fucking one too many like aluminum top fucking Gansets, and eventually punch me in the face.
Also, do they really quick? Speaking of that, do they ever mention in the remake the company that George owns? Because they mention he runs a business, but they never say
Yeah.
by name.
I mean the truck, but
They show the truck, but that's it.
But I mean, they don't really ever. That's not even. They don't get too into the business part of it. With
Yeah.
the original, they do. Like that's a part of the movie, which we're gonna get into in a second.
yeah,
They utilize it different. Like
Right.
so. As far as like, let's kind of jump forward a little bit. Let's get into like when they actually like own the house, right? So like when I thought there was a couple cool setup things with when they're
Don't forget,
unpacking the house.
one of the best scenes, real quick. I mean, not scenes. One of the best sayings when they find out about the murders in the house. I had to rewind, make sure I heard
Houses
it
don't
right.
kill people.
No, wrong one. Not yet.
No.
Challenge.
Remake.
What was it? Houses don't have memories was the original.
That's
first,
what it. Yes. Yeah.
Good call.
So, which is a very, very important.
That's right.
Point.
That's a good
Yeah.
point. That is a really good point. Good call,
now,
Phil. Very astute. Very astute of you to remember that line. Good man. Good notes. Well, so from there, go to them unpacking, and George. I like the early. This movie sets up. This movie really does play more on the demonic and religion theme than the remake. The remake is more of like a it's more like a psycho. What is it? My brain is not working. I just got out of work. But psychological.
You just gotta say it slow. If you say it slow with me.
Say it really slow.
I'm
telling you, I just gotta get a couple more of these into me, and my brain will start working a little bit better. But yeah, so it's more of a psychological thriller or horror, and it plays more off of like family drama. Where the original one, there's family drama, but one of the problems I have with the movie, which we're gonna get into in a minute. They play way more on the religion half, which I get, and that was kind of the theme back then between The Exorcist and this and fucking The Omen.
I was gonna go. You're gonna get me ranting a little earlier.
Yeah, it was huge. So like, I don't know if Ben's gonna miss this or not, but so I did like.
I hear you.
All right, so I did like where they set up. They're unpacking, and George picks up a really shiny, beautiful cross. If you look at it like that, and he goes, "What do you want to do with this?"
What do you want me to do with this?
He didn't give a fuck which more blue collar roughneck dudes. Like I grew up with people like that, man, and like that's how they are. It's not that they're not religious. It's just that they're like, yeah, I'll go to mass on Sunday when I gotta go, and I'll be there on Easter. But like, I can't be. I got fucking bills to pay. Like let me go to work, and I gotta go. I gotta go mix the cement. Like that's how those guys are.
Yeah.
And fucking, I just thought that was a really good symbol. And then like they hang it up, and the way they like really make sure to focus on it, and it's shiny and. It's just funny how like symbolism like that gets shot in movies now. Like if you look at like The Matrix, there's a ton of fucking that movie's essentially the story of like Jesus and him coming back into the final movie where he's laying on the cross.
See, I like the stuff in the Matrix metaphors and analogy and all that.
Oh yeah,
cool. Symbolism.
I love symbolism. I love all that shit too. That's what I'm saying. Like it's funny. A lot of people don't catch on to stuff like that when you watch movies like this. Like they're foreshadowing. Like they're trying to show you like, oh, this is where like here's where your parallels are going to be. Like this nice, beautiful, shiny cross. This is the good, thing or whatever. And he's just kind of tossing it aside. So I feel like they're kind of setting up like, oh, he is the one who's going to be more easily drawn in by the dark, right? But
yeah, and then especially because you have that goes off of what you're saying with he's just a blue collar guy. He doesn't care. He just wants to work. Yeah. He couldn't have given a fucking rat's ass if that house got blessed or not. So if you notice, like every time the priest or the nun is coming to the house to bless it, he's never there. He doesn't give two shits.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
yeah, I mean, and then apparently the priest don't care either. He just walked right in, knocks and walk in.
well, that's just
Speaking
how it
of
was.
which-
It's like I'm a holy man. I'm with the Lord. I don't.
I think
care.
he's a family.
my-
I think he's a family friend too. But I was just being.
God damn it, Joe! You didn't quite steal it from me yet, like the other two shows. But my next notes are the priest just walking in irritated the shit out of me. If you're one, I don't know why. Like, if you show up to Rhode Island tomorrow and just walked into my house, it wouldn't bother me even a little bit. Like, depending on what the situation was. And I have friends that like all day long just come on in. But at the same time, and like, if you don't know that I'm in there, like, and you just walk in my fucking brand new house and you don't tell, like, it was just really odd. Like, you don't go looking, hey, knock on the door, anybody here? Oh, maybe I should go on the back to see what's going on. Nobody's answering. Motherfucker just walks in, his fucking high and mighty ass, fucking walking around. So I'm just throwing this out there. Him just fucking walking in, he deserved that fucking fly problem that happened in the upstairs room.
And I was gonna say that joke too.
It was his fault.
It was his fault. But it's weird to me. I did notice that jumped out at me because I don't know the first one as well. It jumped out at me really. I thought it was odd that they utilized the priest so fucking early. Where in the other one, it's the priest is like an offset. Like it's like it's just like an actual.
Literally the last half hour of the movie. They used that fly bit the last half hour.
I'll get into that a little bit afterwards. In the supposed alleged true story, that priest actually came in early on like that. So when it comes to structure of the Amityville Horror 1979, it's structured by the book, the book based on the events. It's structured based on how George and Kathy told the story when it happened to him. So, the priest walking in, that actually supposedly happened. So
real quick, couple quick things about the fly scene. I was impressed because those are real flies. That was before CG. It is a good scene. It's a very well shot scene. The close-ups on the eye, like the fucking flies' eyes and shit,
and they
was
drag
really,
it out.
really well done.
It just makes you really uncomfortable.
And him like trying to call out to the people outside, and it's what I liked about it was the windows are just locked. Like there's no screws holding them shut. Like the other movie. It's just the fucking demon or the house is holding him in that room to fuck with him. Yeah, like it's fucking with him. But I gotta be honest, also watching it, I couldn't help but fucking laugh and think about
movie 2.
Scary.
That wasn't me. That was
James Wood, Scary Movie 2.
Fuck you.
Help me release this demon.
Yeah, stole it from me.
The power of Scrooge compels you.
God damn it. R.I. original James Woods from fucking Warwick, Rhode Island. My mom used to wait on him at the Crown Plaza. Says he smells like fucking Marlboros and whiskey. And used to grab all the fucking
I'm
girls'
not surprised by that.
I used to talk to him every Friday at the Greenwood Inn.
Yep. So, Rhode Island original. I couldn't help but see that scene and fucking think about it was amazing. It was amazing. So you motherfucker.
Got you. I had to. Damn it. Can that Can that be a
So this is gonna be our theme. We're gonna be stealing each other's lines.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna put together a fucking a promo clip of all 3 times you guys have fucked me.
Bam.
All right. So that was a good scene. Then it kind of, I don't know if anybody else had anything else about that one, but you're more than welcome. Real quick before I move on.
Yeah, again, there's moments that I was like, this freaking movie takes too goddamn long. But then there's moments where it's like that buildup is just so perfect that we talked about. They just really hold you, and that's what I think is what makes it so timeless. Where a lot of fans, it just hold you there, and I like when they take time with the scenes. I see a problem with a lot of movies today. They do, and not just the remake. Remake pulled it off a little bit too. They rush some scenes. The Child's Play remake did that. The Child's Play remake actually was decent. The problem is they rush things.
Mark Hamill, baby.
Remake, they rush things. So they really took time with a lot of certain scenes that really needed that punch. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that's all I gotta say about that. On that, I mean, I was pretty much with you guys on I mean, of course we got I was doing it earlier, the Get Out voice. Get out. That's this.
Get out. Yeah.
That's just,
I fucking
so
adored that.
And
I loved that. I thought they nailed that, and so the reason why I liked it is so the priest he was the one that hit the nail on the head. Obviously, it's a haunted house, and you guys didn't even reference the fact that every time he was splashing the holy water, it would start. Or is that the remake? The fucking water would start sizzling on the ground.
No, I think that was
That's the remake.
Because the remake was it the remake? Because remake was like bing bing.
Yeah,
boom.
I don't remember because we have to compare those two scenes because
Yeah.
unfortunately, even though they're structured so far apart,
Yeah.
I adored that. Like every time he would flick that holy water, it would start sizzling on the ground.
It could have happened. So with the one thing with once that
Mandela
scene took a
effect.
little,
Yes.
yeah, once that
It definitely
scene took
happened in one. I just don't remember which one.
Once that scene took a little bit too long, that's when I started typing the James Woods thing, and I might have missed that. So,
Dude, that's the first thing I thought because they did everything fucking shot for shot. He kisses the fucking scarf, he puts or whatever, puts it on. So what I'll say is I loved that scene, just like you said. The house is keeping him. The house is keeping the priest in, making him so he can't run away, he can't go. They did the close-ups on the fly, which that to me
that's why I forgot. I love that.
To me,
I love it.
I don't know how the fuck they did that in 1978.
It was a beautiful shot. It really was.
And they did that a few times too. And I thought every single time it was perfectly placed. They just did such a good job. And the only sounds you could hear is bzzz, like from The Fly, like the Fly movie with Jeff Goldblum. They did the same shit.
Like I said earlier on, the sound design in this movie, the sound design in the original movie is fantastic.
So
like, the score is good, but the sound design is really good. With the background voices or the buzzing of the flies or little things like that. I mean, they really back then they fucking nailed stuff like that. That's how you built tension. It wasn't jump scares. It was like long drawn out shots and building tension, and it was supposed to creep you out.
And with something like that,
it was well done.
It was just. And the reason why I really liked it too, because I like to try to think about multiple angles and scenarios from characters' perspectives and stuff. He could have easily have thought, oh, it was George that was just fucking with me. Oh, it was the kids. They didn't know what they were doing when they said get out. Get out. Like,
well, he also saw them get on the boat too.
Yeah, and then he could have thought, like, oh, it's the kids. Oh, it's somebody else. No, that motherfucker, that priest knew it was the old specters in that house. It was the house fucking with him, and whatever, fucking poltergeist, ghosts, goblins.
I like the term. No. I like the term. I like this. I like the specter term. It's just you're clearly a Ghostbusters fan. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, bro, I'm a
shout out to Nate. We got to get Nate on the show. Nate, I love you.
Nate, and then if
you see this
Afterlife, dude, that's the perfect time. The second Afterlife.
It's not bad.
We're yeah. Listen, anything horror, anything horror related. I real quick.
I even want to Lovecraftian for crying out loud.
I even kind of want to do the new Mortal Kombat because there are horror elements in it. So like, I even wouldn't mind doing that. So we're not going to get into that right now.
Oh, you'd hear a lot of stuff.
Far than that, we're not going to talk about that now. Sorry guys, I have to refresh my beverage.
No, that's fine. Yeah, no, that's why I liked it. Is he was the one, the first one.
I was just waiting for Joe to be like, wait, there's a whole ass bottle of vodka in your hand?
Yeah.
I just quoted. I'm sorry. I listened to Scrooge. I'm watching you do your thing. I got my green ink in front of me. I got my brain doing this.
Okay.
Like, what is going on?
If anybody wants to sponsor this show, New Amsterdam, I could put your kids through college with how many of these I drink a week.
Truly. that would be truly amazing.
Pay us.
Or if we were gonna go local, a local mixer.
Excuse you. We already have a sponsorship opportunity, and it's with that ball trimmer bullshit. Come on. Idiot.
I wish. I would gladly let them trim my. We would do it live.
I sent you the message that somebody actually contacted us about the ball trimmer thing.
Of course, we got Eddie looking like Ryan Reynolds a little bit.
I sent it, dog.
Showing a little skin.
I missed this one. We're gonna talk about this later.
Yeah.
If we actually have something like that,
we'll talk about I promise it's a bot.
I'm sure it is. I get
pull YouTube back in.
Yeah, I get shit like that on my fucking Instagram all the time about selling shitty fucking steroids and stuff.
What I didn't like about the remake, this is where I'll say what I really.
Already jumping into that, huh?
No. Hold it.
What?
Yes.
I was saying about that scene.
I want to hold it.
All right,
go ahead.
All it says, I really hated how they had to wait up until all the fucking very end of the movie to show the pre-scene. That's the only thing I didn't like. I didn't like
I disagree.
I don't like
I'll get to that. We'll get to that later.
That's why I wanted to hold it because there's a reason why, and I think we're going to talk
Benny's
about.
Benny's got good. He's still got a good point, but I want to show a different perspective.
That's
Oh,
fine.
I got a perspective
So,
for you,
Oh, I
motherfucker.
bet you do.
So we got to see some. I think it was after that scene. We got to see. This is where I was
Yes.
saying I need to see some titties, and thankfully,
Half naked, half naked stretch scene. Fucking weirdest timing.
I don't remember
but
this
hubba
as a
hubba.
kid. I don't remember
It
this
was
part as a kid.
weird. Well, if you watched it on TV Line, it probably didn't show it.
No.
Because of,
well,
I forgot. I was watching like, whoa, what the heck is going on here?
Why does she only have one legging on? I don't get it.
I didn't get
did
that
she
either.
forget to put on the other? Was only
I
one leg cold?
don't know.
Does she have diabetes? I don't fucking know.
This is not in my notes, so.
I didn't like that either. That was the first thing I noticed too, and it's kind of bothering
All
me.
I'm saying is, real
I
quick,
don't know if it
the
matters if
remakes,
you like it or not.
the remakes Bang Bang scene, way better. Anyways,
Well,
No,
yeah,
you actually see some
conservative
titties.
version, the conservative version, the not conservative version.
no, man, because
You see
listen,
some
back in
titties
the
in the
fucking
OG.
70s, they didn't give a fuck. They showed ass and titties everywhere.
Push.
No, I know that, but we're talking about we're talking about conservative George.
Yeah,
Not conservative George. You know what I'm saying?
all I'm saying, Ryan Reynolds is a fucking dime piece. We ain't gonna listen. We're not gonna call it the remake from now on. We're gonna call it the Reynolds cut because that's what that fucking movie is. We'll just call it.
I
Let's
wanted to
just
see
call it a
Ryan's
spade a
dick, and
spade.
I didn't see it.
I'm just
Bullshit.
saying.
Oh
just
my
saying.
god.
He can swing my axe any day.
I'd fucking hold his log with two hands.
Oh snap!
The second I
Benny
get
with the
shaky,
heat.
the second I get shaky, he gets shaky.
We're already guy crushing. We're not even there yet.
Benny. Oh, sorry, dreamy. All right,
That's
reel me
a
back
highlight.
in. Guys.
Man.
Reel me back in, Joe.
Bunch of
Reel me back in.
Neanderthals.
Okay. All right. All right. So Bang Bang session interrupted by some crying kid in a creepy rocking chair. That was okay.
And that goes
That
very
was
good
good.
with the whole it goes with the family dynamic. Kid walks in, parents having sex, but it's a stepdad, whatever,
Yep.
and then like
and then there was a
now we
creepy
start
ass
getting
black cat that looked fake. Like it was a
I
weird
wrote
cat.
down Pet Cemetery just to be funny.
Yeah.
Mm.
The fucking me and Ben both have black cats. Like we have both had like my cat's like full blown black, so it's weird. I've seen my cat do weird shit like that. Maybe it's a black cat thing. It must
Midnight
be
cat.
because
I don't know why
they
race
have
matters, but that's fine.
As long as not
motherfucker, not the
Friday
firecrackers.
13th. Jesus.
What now? Now what about the black cat thing? They really do like they have a different personality. Like they fucking I've had a million cats. Well, Ben's cats are both kind of weird.
Superstition.
They're both
Yeah,
dumb
but
as
like
bricks.
I've there's been many times where I wake up and I see my black cat, like all you see are beady little eyes in the fucking chair in the room, and where like my other cats, like you don't deal with that, like they're a little more friendly. So this cat, when I just saw
horror cats,
all I wrote down was creepy ass black cat. Anyways, all right, now
so go ahead.
go ahead. I don't know.
I was going to go with you. I know because this is where the build-up's really good. It gets you get to the creaking chair.
Mm-hmm.
So that starts to foreshadow things we're gonna see. The 3:15. Here's another thing that still bothers me until the age of 40. I wake up at 3:15 very often, even to this day.
Hour, man.
And this, I blame this freaking movie.
It's not just. I'm pretty sure that lore goes into other things. Though. I think it's more.
It's not just
the witching hour, the time of the day. I mean, I go by childhood.
I think H.P. Lovecraft has mentioned it, hasn't he? With 3:15, at least the numbers, right? No, I know Joe would know more than me.
But I'm gonna write that down and prove you and me wrong.
No, I just want to know because I.
What do you prefer? What do you prefer? Do you prefer 3:15 or 3:16 day? Because fucking Stone Cold gonna whoop your ass. Sorry, I had to say it.
It'll be a good parody if like it's 3:16 and he just comes in and
just stuns the ghost. Fuck you, ghost.
He
stuns George. We're gonna stun George.
Fuck George. He stuns the fucking house. Fuck you. Get out of here.
Yeah, he can stun the whole house.
Start pumping him back. Imagine if we could have an effect where somebody threw me a can real quick. I almost bought. I'm not even kidding. To go along with my Western, I almost bought a can of 316, the IPA. I've had it before, but I almost bought one. Yeah, I almost bought one can just to fucking bring that stupid point up and crack, like toss it to myself and crack it. I'm not on the ball today, guys. I'm sorry. We're gonna get better.
You know what's
we
are a little loose today, so we're loosey goosey.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? I never noticed this, and it's only because of the whole Ed and Lorraine Warren law that's taken over the horror movie genre over the years.
Mm-hmm.
And Annabelle. Now, of course, the movie Annabelle has more of a creepier. Well, I mean, they're both creepy. It's more of a wooden doll, but like with this, I noticed in the chair there was a Raggedy Ann doll. very similar to what the actual real Annabelle doll looks like. It's just the real Annabelle doll is actually bigger. It's more life size. So I don't know, like, now the Warrens were involved helping him out make this movie. Again, more of my little rant of like scam.
Oh, in real life?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Fucking A. So that I found interesting. Like, well, I all the years I watched it, of course you're not gonna notice it unless you actually know.
Are we about to get a Joe Walsh pipe bomb today?
Oh, you're gonna get a pipe bomb. What?
Oh,
No, seriously, you're gonna.
Yes.
Can we? All right.
I like that.
So, but
let's keep it going. Oh, go ahead. You got something to say? Sorry.
No, I was gonna go with you. Like, I was just gonna jump on the the change of George, his temperature change. He's constantly cold.
Yeah.
Want to go on that?
Well, but this is right around when he starts kind of snapping, and you start seeing like the house starting to get to him a little bit, and then kind of like it ends up going into this movie's wood chopping scene. This one does it well with how it reacts to how he reacts to Kathy. But I already know I do enjoy the remake's version of it. But then watching the remake, I forgot that technically there are 2 wood chopping scenes in the second one. And so
Yeah, I forgot
until
too.
I saw it. So there's actually technically 2. So there's another parallel where so there's certain scenes that they paid homage to or did their own way in the remake, which we'll talk about a little bit more once we talk about the remake fully in a minute. But to kind of like weave them all together, like there's the pre-scene upstairs with the flies. There's which they both did. There's when they're walking through the house and they kind of argue about like, oh, this is too good to be true, kind of a thing. They both have their one line about like, the houses don't have memories, houses don't kill people, people kill people. But then there are like the wood chopping scene, right? And like that is like I feel like that's right when you start getting to the second act of both movies, or right around. I feel like this one is starting to go into like, oh, now we're gonna start seeing the change of George. This movie plays on George being more like sick or like ill. And I don't mean like mentally sick, which he is, but I mean like it kind of more like gives him like a flu-like symptom, and he can't quite figure out what's going on with him. Also driving him a little crazy, but not quite as crazy as the other one goes to by this point. But you can tell he's starting to build some tension between the two of them. Already right here too, I want to point something out that I think it's odd that this one, it focuses heavily on by this point in the movie, I've caught on to that they focus really more so on the Kathy and George storyline. Like you barely see the kids in this movie. Like they're really not used that much. And I'm gonna say that more as we go through the actual review of this movie, but the kids are almost a hearsay. Like I couldn't tell you what the kids' names are in this movie. I have no idea. I don't even know if they're the same as the second movie. I couldn't tell you because I barely ever. I don't even think they ever said them.
I think the oldest is Danny. The oldest is Danny. I don't remember the youngest.
They say Jody's name or whatever. That's it.
Well, no, Jody's not.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm saying
Jody's the ghost.
Yeah, Jody's the ghost, but they keep that the same. But I don't remember.
They even changed that. Yeah.
Really?
Because Jody's a demon in the first movie. You see Jody later on. In the remake, which I actually don't like too much. I'm one of my least favorite things of the whole entire remake is the Jody character.
Okay.
The Jody character is a made up version of the actually one of the Defoe daughters that got murdered. There was no Defoe. There was no Jody in the Defoe family that got murdered, and she wasn't murdered in the closet in real life. So they added that to they use a different different to move to different point a plot tool. I hate using the word tool, but more like a plot tool. Where Jody was actually an imaginary friend. Well, she was an imaginary friend in both of them, but she was an actual imaginary friend in the first movie. And then you find out some form of like demon, which is ridiculous when they revealed it. But yeah. Like, that's that.
So I didn't realize that.
That's good to point out because I actually didn't even put 2 and 2 together. Yeah, I just thought that. Because like they barely mention until the very end that Jody is a demon. Where in the remake they're up front with you and saying that no, Jody was one of the daughter because they say Ronnie says her name at the beginning.
Yeah,
he's like, I'm sorry, Jody.
Sister.
Yeah. Yep. I'm sorry, Jody, and he fucking guns her down. So I mean, we can say what our true opinions are. But So we have somebody saying I don't have much to add here, but I appreciate this. Midnight Cowboy, I fucking love you to death. That he's the person that I've told you about, who would be a fucking awesome addition just to have at least once on the show. Cowboy, if you ever want an
Welcome
interview,
anytime.
just let me know. You
My
are more
door's
than
always
welcome.
open.
Yep.
Nice.
Come on,
Just
kitty.
like a priest, you can walk. Just like the priest, you can walk in anytime.
No,
Walk-ins,
so
walk-ins welcome.
I that is a good point. That is a good point to have. They just very quickly, I will say they just never talk about the kids at all in the original.
Yeah, and I'm going to bring that up again more when we talk about the remake.
I'm gonna talk about the
But
comparisons.
I want to kind of put that here. Yeah.
But right now we're just kind of comparing scene to scene right now.
Yeah. So going from there, so
we do have moving a little. Some of the
we'll move it along.
Quick, yeah.
We'll move it along. So I put one thing that happens here though. I typed a little too fast and I put something about after the kitchen something scene. I put sticker or stickler scene. So I don't know what that means, but something about the kitchen scene when the camera pans. Oh, something must have happened in the kitchen. What the fuck happened in the kitchen next? Were they fight? Something happened with the wife. Oh, the wife. The wife sees something behind her or something. I can't remember what the fuck. Kathy sees something. It's the first time she sees like something behind her or like in a mirror or something. I can't remember what the fuck it is. You guys don't remember that? She's like making dinner or she's unpacking. No, in the original one, she's like unpacking groceries or something. Yeah, she's like unpacking groceries or something, and behind her there's like a voice. I can't remember what happens right now. I'm sorry.
Oh, did I write that down? I actually I might have actually written a note about that.
So something happens where like she notices like a voice behind her or like a shadow or something happens behind her, and she kind of like plays it off like no big deal, and she turns back around, and then that's when she had like pigtails, and she fucking she was in the kitchen. What the fuck was she? I think she was making dinner or unpacking groceries, something along those lines.
I think it was unpacking groceries.
And then right after that is when it shows a really cool panning shot of the house. It backs up and it shows just like a really nice still frame shot of the house, and like the fucking eyes light up red, and it looks.
Right.
This is the scene I kind of was talking about earlier where they finally show it, and this is where they're starting to show like, oh, it's the house doing all this stuff, and like you knew that anyways, but there's a few really fucking well done shots of this house, man. Like, and they utilize it well, and they'll sit on the house. They slow burn it. You know what I mean? Like they're not
they don't
in a
make you
huge
sick of it
hurry
either. Yeah.
No, and they really. I mean, it's super cheap. It's super effective for the filmmaking that's trying to do. You change the score up a little bit. You make it a little bit more creepy, a little more eerie. You change the fucking lighting, and with the budget they have for this movie, it's amazing. They really did a really good job. But I wanted to point that scene out, and then I had a little quick pet peeve of mine in real life. I put smoking in bed after demon dick. Yuck. So she must have.
I like the duck.
Yeah, it was just a really weird scene. I didn't care for that one. And then let's see. Was it the scene looking over the? Oh yeah. She was shot in the head.
That scared the crap out of me, man. Yeah. I wrote that too. That she just comes up and screams.
She was shot in the head.
And my TV has a weird volume thing. Sometimes the screaming or the talking's low, and the volume goes up, and I was like, oh my god. And I've seen this movie quite a few times. If I get that happens,
I know Ed was probably gonna bring it up, but I want to at least give a shout out to one of my favorite bands of all time, the Acacia Strain.
I wasn't gonna bring it up, but I'm glad you did.
That's the first thing I thought was, because I've never seen the OG movie until the other day. On the album Death is the Only Mortal, the song The Mouth of the River, the fucking
favorite song.
Dude, the song opens up with the line, she was shot in the head. And I was like, oh fuck, that's where it comes from.
That's awesome. You put those two together.
So fellow fucking streamer out there, Vinny Benny, I absolutely love you, dog. You are one of my favorite musicians of all time. Peace and love, brother. I love you.
I'll break out this clip for you. You can send it over to him. He's a legit dude. The lead singer of Acacia.
I watch him every day. He is easily my favorite streamer. He's one of the reasons why I still keep going to this very day.
That's cool.
And it was very cool to bring it full circle because he obviously loves horror movies too. I've seen him talk about it all the time. And it's awesome that he gets to incorporate it in his songs. And I'm very glad I was able to bring that full circle and see that for myself the other day. Made me really happy.
I did real quick too. I butchered my own notes because like I wrote it out perfectly so I could be like, she was shit, and like I meant to be like do it, theatrically, and it failed miserably because the the evening beverages are already helping out, making me feel a little bit warm. But looking over after that, it was a really nice touch. I thought that was a great it was before jump scares were really a thing, obviously, and it was a cool like it threw you off because you didn't really quite expect it. And
Yeah.
then looking over at the clock and seeing that it was 3:15 again was a good callback to the cops talking about what time the murders happened. Also, early on in the movie when after they show they show the beginning scene of the house and the lightning storm is happening or thunder's happening and you hear the gunshots and then all of a sudden it switches over to cops coming out of the house talking about what happened and one of the cops says one of the detectives or whatever says to the other one, oh, do we have a time? And they said, yeah, 3:15, and they kind of talk about it and I was like, fuck, I wrote that down. I skipped right over that, but they foreshadow that real early on, like right in the
that was
beginning
pretty
of the
cool.
movie.
I knew you were gonna bring that up. One of those
Yeah.
cops, he was in Back to the Future. He was the principal. Check that one out.
Interesting. Son of a bitch.
The bald-headed dude.
The bald guy.
Yep.
Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about. I just rewatched all the Back to the Futures a couple weeks ago. They popped up on AMC or something. On my fucking whatever, one of my streaming things. But yeah, so talking about it's just a cool throwback, and now this movie's really starting to like loop that in and tie it in where the other movie really plays off the 3:15 a lot. But wanted to give that a quick call back. And then the next piece that I'm going to talk about is really where a big difference between the two movies is, and one of the plot points. Okay, so by this
point,
point,
the priest thing.
Not yet. Close. It's pretty close. It's going to be talking about the brother having a wedding thing.
Yeah, that was random too.
That's a throwaway.
So the brother having a wedding scene
stupid.
and getting ready at the house was really weird. But that was the way they got to the babysitter scene, which is another big like homage shot into the remake, right?
Right.
So this is the way they get the brace face babysitter with the big headgear on to get into the house, and that scene was well done as far as like. She's locked in the closet. She's trying to get out, and like you see the subtle, like she's banging so hard her knuckles start bleeding.
Yeah,
and that was really well done. I thought that was cool. But I don't know how to talk about the scene without talking about the other one, but I like the way they utilize. So this is the way they get George away from the house, right? Mm-hmm. Again, they barely talk about the kids, but this is just the way. So the whole reason why the brother has a wedding and is a way to get them away from the house. The remake utilizes that to show, the house is what's making George crazy because when he gets away from the house, he starts feeling normal.
Yeah,
again.
he's totally
This doesn't
fine.
do that.
Yeah.
This movie, George is still sick. He's still not feeling good. He's still a little cloudy as far as memory goes. You know, they can't find the money. The money falls underneath the couch, whatever. You know, the brother.
And him giving the caterer such shit was such like a tough guy thing.
Yeah,
too.
He's like, I'm gonna write him a check. By the way, so speaking of that, why did they focus so hard on the jade statue thing in the original? Do you remember that? Like, it's like an elephant or something.
I'm sure that I
why
get
did they
I'm
focus
sure
so hard on it?
There has to be some kind of symbolism when it comes to religion. I just don't know. Like, I didn't think about it too much, but I know what you're talking about. I noticed that too. That they
focus
on
it
like
so
focus
hard.
on it. Yeah, it was really weird. And maybe they were just trying to chew up scene.
Is the brother stupid because it was right underneath the couch? Oh no, that was the money band. That was the money band. You're right. Nope.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Where is it?" And I thought,
even though he fucking pounded it 22 times, but
there are moments of like over dramatic acting in that movie that like drove me insane.
Where is
even James Brolin and Margot made fun of themselves. A documentary I watched, they're like, yeah, some of the acting was just.
This is gonna be such a weird callback. When he said "Where is that?" and he gets all flipped out and it points to the jade statue or whatever it is, for some reason that reminded me of the scene in Men in Black when he's looking for the cat collar.
Where is it?
And he shakes the fucking van all stupid.
That scene's great.
Yeah, that was a good scene. Yeah, I don't know why
that was a good. Where is it scene?
Where is it? That guy from fucking Law and Order. I just. The whole brother's funeral, dude, that actually almost put me to sleep. I didn't care.
You mean wedding?
Whatever. It should have been a funeral at this point. I would have been more excited.
I mean, some people would say
we killed it.
Yeah.
Some people would say they're one and the same.
Yeah. because it sucked and it
Hey,
was stupid.
no, that's not what I mean. But Ben doesn't get it. It's
There-
like back in like the '90s, like Married with Children would have made a joke about like a funeral and a wedding being the same thing.
Oh
'cause,
yeah, that's right.
yeah.
Haha, we hate our
Anyways,
So long.
wives.
Yeah, thing back then. So then when they get home and like the babysitter's all fucking bleeding or whatever, when they finally she finally gets out. Um, what's different is like she's in there by herself. The kids don't even pay a mind to it. Like the kids aren't even in there again, barely using the kids. She's just kind of locked in the fucking closet by herself. When she gets out, they talk about Jody finally a little bit, and George finally snaps at the kids, and it finally starts really setting up and giving him some like character building. Again, they barely used this as a tool like or a plot device to like move the movie forward. You know what I mean? They really more focused on like George just kind of like unwinding a little bit and not feeling good. And well, why don't I feel good? I can't figure out why. And like Kathy starts hearing things and seeing things, and she's kind of starting to put two and two together, but it's still not really quite there yet. And then one thing I thought was funny, I don't even remember what part of this was, but a line I laughed my ass off at. He goes, "I blame it on Detroit. No, I blame Detroit a lot faster than I blame the devil." Something about the fucking car breaking down or something.
Yeah. Yep.
Or the
Was
priest
that his
gets
like
into an
his
accident.
partner buddy that said that?
Oh no, it was the priest. It was the,
It was
I think it was the priest when they get into an accident or something, right?
Yeah,
Isn't
yeah.
that what it
Yeah,
is?
when
Another
apparently
stupid ass scene.
yeah, which like it's like apparently the house can control cars miles away.
Yeah, it was so stupid. But then the line that the line spoken was, "I blame Detroit a lot faster
Yeah.
than I blame the devil." Just
Yeah,
made me
that's
laugh. I don't know. As an ex car
that's a
salesman,
douchey
like
thing to say,
Yeah.
Mr. Priest.
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny.
That's a dude from Jaws, by the way. That's the mayor.
The fucking
Okay.
the fucking
Mayor from Jaws.
the lady from Indiana Jones had a better crash reaction than the priest did. That's all I'll say. We're not sinking, we're crashing.
Stupid.
Yeah,
I hate it. Oh.
by this point,
Whoa!
this point, we're probably about halfway through the movie at this
Yeah.
point.
The
and
OG, yeah.
again, they're really starting to bring the priest in more often, and they're like showing longer shots of him getting into the car accident. And then the next scene is like the priest trying to prove that he felt a presence. I thought it was a great scene, and it was probably the best acting in the movie. Like he's trying to explain to like I don't know if it's the cardinal or the diocese
Like
or
the council of like that city's.
yeah.
I think it's like every
He's trying to explain
priest.
to them.
Yeah.
He's trying to explain to like I'm not a religious guy, so I don't know how the fucking pecking order goes
Yeah,
with
we
these
got it.
people, but they're in a scene where he's trying to explain like I'm telling you, I felt the presence in the house. That was hands down the best acting in the whole movie. But this is where my issues start coming into the movie. Where I like the remake a little bit better, I personally, what affects me more is the psychological family issues with the remake because it hits home a little bit more. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. We'll get into that in a minute. But it just I feel like by this point, and I don't know what movie came out first or what in what succession. I know The Exorcist I believe was before this, but as far as like
Exorcist was definitely first.
Okay.
So,
So
all right, when you're done, I'll get in my thing on this whole goddamn.
This is where I'm starting to kind of lose it. Like they instead of realizing that they had kind of like gold and like the fucking story is about, and I don't know the original story, so maybe this is where you can fill it in. Like the story should be about the family and the house, and like focus on that. Bring in the priest, bring in the religious thing because we're talking about demons and fucking entities and specters, as Ben said. But like focus on the fucking house and the people in the house. Half of this movie becomes the priest. Like half of this movie, if you look at the runtime, is about a priest. And I get it. That's what the trope that was going on at the time, and I get it that was like the theme with a lot of movies. And when when you look at it's a sign of the times, I guess. But man, I feel like that part of the movie doesn't hold up as well. And I'm going to talk about that later on, and I'm probably giving away like a little bit of a spoiler as far as the way I feel about the movie. But
no, you can
feels.
I think we're at this point we can start.
Yeah, you feel all of the 2 hours of this movie because of that storyline. I feel like they could have trimmed out a lot of that outside of this scene. This scene is the best scene with the priest outside of the fly scene. The rest of it's like shit, like him talking to the other fucking priest about the car accident or fucking not feeling good and being sick or whatever the case may be. You could have thinking about it now, right? I mean, hindsight, the movie's however 40 something years old, 41, 42 years old, whatever. They could have trimmed down, 20 minutes, a half hour at least, right? and that's where they could have cut it. They could have cut a lot of that bullshit out and really focused on building up more time. I would have even liked longer shots of the house or more fucking creepy voices or trying to, like I don't know. That's one of the slower points of the movie.
I think what you're trying to say is the movie did not deserve to be 2 hours long.
I said that earlier. My nose was 2 freaking hours.
Yeah, that movie.
Yeah, if you feel fucking all of it by the end.
Right.
Of it.
Empty Man just watches 2 hours. Empty Man was like 2 hours 15 minutes, and that entire movie worked 2 hours 15 minutes. This movie does not. So, goddamn fucking So here's So I hated it a lot more when I was doing the research, and I'll get in a sec. Now watching it now, fresher eyes, and we're talking about it. It works as a separate movie.
Okay.
If you were to take those religious scenes and throw into an actual religious horror movie,
yes,
they would all work.
What is it? The Haunting of Emily Rose or The Exorcism of Emily
Great
Rose?
movie.
That's a great exorcism movie. That really is. But like, that's a
great movie. Rosemary's Baby, all of those.
Yep.
And that's where. Now I'm gonna get into the whole thing where I get pissed off at the Lutzes and the Warrens and all these freaking assholes get involved with this thing.
Wait, are we about to unleash the beast?
This is
about the real life, like behind the scenes stuff, right?
This is behind the scenes.
All right, then nope, I'll shut up.
So you can add, because I know you're probably gonna like dig into it too. So after all the crazy ass documentaries I watched, all the articles I read, where you could take some with a grain of salt and then you could believe some whatever, you know how it is. We know they left after 28 days. We know they left their stuff behind. Well, of course, we don't talk about a lot of times with like the media circus that drove the town crazy with all the shit, when they brought all the people there and they brought all the different paranormal experts to check this out, and then everybody's camping out in the living room. Every time you hear anything about any form of like ghosts, paranormal, these teams are camping out in the house with these people, and they still do it today, I would imagine. I haven't researched a lot of it in a long time. So when I did the research on like the guy who wrote the book, and then the way George Lutz wanted to control the story, we get these point with the religious stuff, and too. Exorcist was out, Rosemary Baby was out. What was the other one? Oh no! The Omen. The Omen. Yeah. All those are right before, so that they're capitalizing on their situation. I believe they saw something. I'm not. The paranormal part of me says they saw something. They got freaked out. I also believe that there was some abuse in that house. There was dude was a toxic human being. And I truly believe he wanted to. Once they seen something and they got out of there. Hey, let's play on this. They had money issues. They had money issues buying the house. They have all these like they have the track record of, this scam would make sense because we are struggling. People do that. The best people in the world, crash. Money destroys people. Money and dysfunction destroy people, depending. So, the whole and then just to throw and it seems so pretentious the religious stuff. It's just like.
Yeah, it throws in your face.
Maybe it's because I'm anti-religious too, so maybe that's why it drives me nuts too. I don't know.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think it's because we both have that same like I'm an agnostic person, right? So like I'm not. It's not that I don't believe in like a god or a devil or whatever. I just don't have a reason to believe in it personally. Like it's nothing. Anytime I've ever prayed, nothing ever came good out of it. The only thing that I've ever like earned in life is by me working for it. Like I've never gotten any special favors. Like I believe in fate, and I believe that we're all destined for things. I do believe in some things like that, and I believe that there are like souls, and I believe 100% believe in karma. I really do think that. I think that there's an aura and an energy in the world, and I do think that like, it's the same idea as like, say like what I do for work, right? I talk on the phone. People don't see me. It's all on the phone. If you smile going into the conversation, you'll feel that back, man. Like you'll feel the conversation come back to you that way, right? It's the same thing in everyday life, right? So with religion, like I'm envious to an extent of anybody that really wholeheartedly believes in a higher power or an afterlife or any of that stuff. I'm not saying I don't believe it. I just haven't found it yet, and I haven't found reason to have believed yet, because when I was a little kid and impressionable, when you're supposed to really get this like embedded into your brain, it wasn't there for me. Like I prayed many times crying as a little kid, and nothing happened for me until I got my stuff out of Dodge and my family out of the way. Ben's my family. He knows. He can fill you in.
Wait, when
We've
did you
both
live
been
in
there.
Dodge?
We've never actually lived in a Dodge. I have lived in a Buick, though. I have lived in a Buick. Chateau Buick. Chateau Buick. Anyways,
Yeah.
so the point is I agree with you that like some movies, the movies that do it well, that play off the religion thing well, the non-believer in you accepts it. The movies that are pretentious, like you said, that's a great word for this situation, and really try to like cram it down your throat. It can lose you. Yeah, it can lose you. And if you're not a religious person,
driving me nuts last night watching it. I was like, this
yeah,
is
if you're not a religious person, it's gonna go one ear and out the other, and you're gonna totally overlook it because it's just not gonna fucking feel.
Then you're really gonna hate the other two Exorcist movies if you ever have to watch those. Because those
I have them. I will at some point.
Yeah,
but
those are super religious driven.
I definitely want.
Yeah, but again, if religion is done right, I don't have a problem with that. And I'm not even saying religion isn't my problem with the pre-storyline. The pre-storyline is my issue with the pre-storyline.
Right.
Like it was unnecessary.
And it's not
it was a plot point that didn't need to happen.
It was just they don't just capitalize on the whole religious thing. They capitalize on the Native American burial ground thing, devil worship. I mean, they spewed everything from the 70s, like, and they were just like, when you get to when it starts to build up, you get to the really gritty stuff to the end, which we should get to soon. They start using a random medium, the George's business partner. His wife is apparently a medium.
Well, actually, that's where I was just going to go into that.
I figured you would. That's why I threw it in.
We might as well start going to that. Yeah, start going to like the latter half of the movie.
Like, they just start revealing.
Well, like so when it goes from fucking the priest or whatever to like all of a sudden outside and like the dude from George's work just shows up. And then there's like an axe throw scene into like a kid getting his hands smashed in a window.
I actually like that scene. That's a good.
So here's the thing: that scene, that whole like, if there's like a 2 to 5 minute scene where like they show up and the wife, the coworker's wife doesn't want to walk in and she gets all spooked out and really acts terribly
for no reason.
It doesn't quite understand.
It creeps me out. I don't like it.
There's a lot of overbites in the 70s with these actors. There's a lot of fucking.
I don't like it.
There's some grill work.
That's right. 70s is the year of the overbite.
Dude, George flexes so hard, and like he's like, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and walk to the boathouse, and then turns around and just goes, yeet, and then just it lands in the tree.
Goes like, right that tough guy crap.
Like for no reason.
No, it's to show. It's the kind of it's like the dick measuring contest. Like it's to be like, I'm the alpha guy, and he's crazy alpha guy. Like this is really.
This is very. He has been going to work too. On top of it,
so somebody
has been going to work.
Somebody just pointed out in the chat. Side note: I think the reason we have so much religious horror nowadays is due to people's informative knowledge. Now with the internet, you can disprove a monster or a zombie virus, but you can't scientifically disprove ghosts and demons. But also because religion is still practiced very heavily.
Internet is God.
The believers are believers.
That's a good
right?
comment. It's a good comment.
Yeah, it is a good comment. Whoever said that, shout out to them. So the thing with the religion thing is it's fading. Religion is fading. It's like a fading practice. Like it's not
in America, sure.
In America, it is. It's becoming a thing because Ben's generation. I mean, I don't even want. This is
back in my day.
Well, this is gonna be. It's a tough. I don't want to get too far down the road.
No, we don't get too far. We don't want to get too far.
We'll circle back to this.
No, we'll circle back.
No.
Keep it.
We'll circle back and
pin it.
Yeah, we'll have pin it because we'll also. Here's the thing. We'll eventually do a show where we just talk. Like I wouldn't mind doing a show where we just have like a freeform show. We react to like fans. And we bring up movies or tropes or go back and just.
We can do some deep conversations on that crap too.
Yeah. I'm all about. I would like to. I would like to talk about our beliefs in like ghosts and spooks and specters and whatever the fuck else you want to talk about. Because we all have a lot to talk about and we all have different opinions about certain things like that. The thing with the religion fading is it's true. It's the same idea as like how when we were growing up, me and Joe, and Ben to an extent, before the internet blew up we didn't have the internet growing up. We had textbooks that were printed 10 to 20 years before we got them. And how fast does fucking science disprove things now, right? It's at the blink of an eye. People are coming up with, how shit, man. Look at the fucking pyramids. The pyramids we're constantly learning new things about how fucking old they actually are, and how they maybe built them, or the fact that there's just science is tearing apart a lot of the fucking the foundations of like the old way of like America or the way we thought about things. And religion's a part of that old way of thinking. Like religion was a part back in the day that kept communities together. It was a way for everybody to get together on Sunday and hang out and wear your best dressed and like make your meatloaf and whatever the fuck else you're gonna do.
Meatloaf.
People are losing
It
that,
still
man.
works for some people, which is fine.
And it does, and that's why I'm saying I do envy people that really believe in it. I don't envy the people that that are brainwashed by it, and it's like gross when they're
Oh,
like,
I can't wait till we start talking about cult horror movies. That's gonna be a blast.
Yeah, well, I love.
God.
Well, I'm a sucker for cult stuff. One of my idols is Jim Jones. If you guys don't know, maybe
Your
not
idol?
Yeah, the Kool-Aid man. Wore
Nah,
cool glasses.
Charles Manson, baby.
Bad motherfucker. I love him.
Charles
I'm
Manson.
a big fan.
Kool-Aid, I'm gonna refill my Kool-Aid. I'm right
You
back.
go refill
All
your
right.
thing real quick.
So go ahead.
Go ahead. We'll interact.
Yeah.
While Joe's going to get a beer, me and Ben can interact with some people. Tell that dude I like the point that he brought up. Or
Yeah,
chick,
that's
whoever
that's
it was.
Robbie. That's the nice gentleman who I've told you about. He's a.
All right, cool.
I told him. Excuse me, by the way. I told him to just now to send you a message with the Bonded by Horror Instagram.
Yeah.
So
Anybody that wants to talk, interact, man, find us. So another quick plug. Another quick Joe. Another quick plug. Bonded by Horror on Instagram. No underscores or anything. All one word. Bonded by Horror.
yeah,
You
please
can
for
find
love
it
of
on
God,
any of
people,
our Instagram.
follow
Go-
us at Bonded by Horror.
Go follow us. We'll follow you back.
We're done?
No.
No,
We're giving a quick plug.
no.
Giving a quick plug. Bonded by Heart. Go follow us there. Interact with us. That's what we're gonna do. Show
Plugs,
announcements.
plugs,
We put
plugs,
up
plugs.
clips. We're gonna put up a lot more stuff. We're gonna be a little bit more interactive there, as interactive as we can be.
Yo.
I'm the one who runs the Instagram, but we're gonna start venturing out. We are in the works of setting up a YouTube
Thank you. I appreciate
channel
that.
soon. And we are going to be setting up a couple other things. We're going to be setting up.
You grab number
we're
5,
eventually-
motherfucker. That's not number 2.
That's number 5, motherfucker.
This is the first one I had. I'll tell you in a second after Ed's done.
No, it says 5 in the can, doesn't it?
Yeah, I
it
know.
says
I got 5
on
and
the
2
can,
mixed up.
motherfucker.
So that
Oh,
2 was the first time I had it. 2. It was delicious. This 5 is what I had the other day. It's a smoked brown ale with soft pretzel.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Truly,
grow a
though.
fucking man bun. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
drink a truly idiot.
Oh shit! I'm looking. No, I'm looking. But yeah, so real quick. Yeah, there you go. That's some
My
sorry ass
beanie
head, bro.
bald brother from another mother over there.
That's some shine.
Way worse.
I'm good. I'm the only one. It's nice being an outlier. Anyways, yeah. So we'll plug more later on. We'll plug all of our individual stuff. And it's appreciated. Anybody that follows us, 100%. I'll do my best to try to follow you back with the Bonded by Horror thing. Please interact with us, like it, share it, comment,
Definitely,
be a part
please.
of it. We really are. Not to be cliche in the middle. This is the middle of the show
You're
today.
cliche.
But maybe a little cliche. We're trying to make a community. We really are trying to make a fun place for us to talk about movies, and we're gonna start taking requests too, man. Like,
Yeah.
if anybody has a movie that they want to hear us break down, or if you have a fucking a comparison that you want us to do, like an OG versus remake like this, or
And
if
it
you
sucks,
have
like,
I
a
want-
newer
yeah,
movie.
dude, like it sucks because
Please.
I know there's so much love for the horror film genre because it's
But that's
crazy.
community.
Like
The horror community and the metal community are the two
It's
most
crazy, and
diehard fucking sets of fan bases,
I just
and
feel like
they
there's
intertwine.
there's not like a really concrete place to go, and that really bothers me for some reason. So I feel like the Bonded by Horror could also be for everybody else too. Like that's how we get everybody in.
Come on.
Yeah, everybody.
We're all rejects here, man. We're all fucking friends. We're all fucking sideshow clowns in our own little right. So
that's
we welcome all kinds, man.
so.
We're lovers, not fighters, and
Mhm.
we want to have some fun. We just want to talk about spooky shit.
And we'll
That's
kiss
all we
you
wanna do.
too, right in the
And make-
hint.
And I'll maybe for sure. Yeah, I mean I've kissed some weird.
Everybody
shit
should
before.
kiss Ed because it looks
But-
like Ryan Reynolds.
He's very handsome in this, and that's
I'm
my
close.
brother.
I'm a little-
I'll say that.
I'm a little thick right
Have
now.
you ever-
Been
for the-
lifting a little heavy today.
For the
Anybody
people
wanna
out there,
see-
like
anybody want to see the goods? Listen,
Yeah.
if we get some, like 5 new follows sent out on Bonded by Horror, I'll
Yeah.
totally slip the nipple.
See,
Hey.
this is what crazy for people watching. This is me and
This is
him are
Friday night.
me and him are directly related. We came out of the same ding
Mm.
dong and the same fucking V hole. And
This is my
100%.
crazy tonight. You didn't see me crazy the last 2, but this is my crazy.
that
9 years difference
It's not
between me
that
and
crazy.
Ben, and we're also
That
there's
motherfucker's like a-
similarities when we look at each other.
he's like a fucking foot taller than me. He's like
I'm
a foot
6 feet
taller.
tall.
What?
He,
Wait,
Almost, yeah.
Almost.
Ben's like
I'm
5'3", 5'4".
I'm 5'4".
I'm 6 feet tall.
He's
Yep.
so, and he's like 800 pounds more than me in muscle or something.
Well,
I complimented.
I'm
I
sick.
complimented at the end.
I
Anyway,
think we got,
all I'm
we,
saying
we
is-
gotta get
Anyway.
back, we get back to it.
yeah.
Yeah,
We're off track.
let's stop patting my
Let's-
ego because
let's-
We knew this
big
was gonna
enough.
happen, so
Let's
we gotta
get back
to
on
We
track,
gotta go.
motherfuckers.
So
I want to play Returnal.
back on track. So then we get to this is where they interject a little bit more of like the grounded in reality thing, right? Where George hasn't been showing up for work and is ignoring his financial duties, and maybe this is a little bit more to the reality. Maybe he was just a fucking piece of shit in real life, probably, and this was his way of
I was a dumb
letting
rant.
go
We'll
of
go
his
later.
company.
Yep.
This is a way that he was, I'm sure that had something to do with him. Maybe this was maybe he was trying to bury his company. Sometimes a lot of people in reality will do that. If a company is failing already, sometimes a company that goes under, you'll get the fucking insurance money out of it, even if it's a construction situation. Or maybe they wrote this maybe he was doing work in the home and writing it off on his taxes and had to fucking let go of something and dissolve it. I mean, money's a motherfucker, man, and that's the root of all evil, in my opinion. Money is a more fucking evil entity than any demon.
I agree.
Kind of is one. It is. It's just. It's a horrible.
Hey, there is a
harsh
reason.
reality.
That's a sin. That's listed as a sin. It's greed.
Mhm.
All I'm saying is, man, like the two things in life that we know we can't get away from is death and taxes, and like,
And
which
my
one's
dick.
scary to you, Oh snap! Anyways, anyways, we're moving forward a little bit more. Here's the thing that I noticed. So George decides to, as he's starting to go crazy and in his downward spiral. Shout out to 9 Inch Nails. That he's gonna, in his crazy wisdom, goes to a library and steals a book. I don't
Thank
care
you.
how crazy you are. Why the fuck?
Why'd
it's
you
a free
steal a
library.
book? It's a public
Why'd you
library.
steal a book? If you walked into a Walden's bookstore
Oh, he
in the
stole that?
fucking
I
He
missed
mall,
that.
stole the book.
yeah, he stuffed it in his
He
fucking
stuffed it in
pants.
his pants. Why did he
Like he's
fucking do that?
Like he's goddamn Billy the Kid stuffing a gun in his
That's all I
fucking
could
mouth.
think. That's all I thought.
What are you
Rant.
doing, dude? Why do you steal a book from a free library?
I rant about fake religious scenes. You guys going off on a library book. This is
Because
It's
it's
so
fucking
stupid.
stupid. It is fucking
It's so
stupid.
stupid. It was dumb. It was dumb. Hey Ben, virtual high five.
Yeah. Can you guys tell that we're related, by the way? Can you guys
And we
tell?
didn't plan that. We take 100% individual notes and do not talk about our
That was
notes
the
beforehand.
first thing
This
I
is
said.
live, man.
I couldn't
What?
think
Oh
about
my
the scene.
God.
He stuffs the
Why
fucking book
steal a book from a free library?
public-
guys?
Because he's cray
library.
cray. He's a crazy. He's a
That's-
crazy
Yeah, well,
bastard.
that's fucking dumb dumb. That's not cray cray. That's dumb
Did
dumb.
he
So-
did he not return a videotape?
He
And
got a nudie
a
tape.
lot of money.
Nudie tape.
He couldn't afford that 35 cents in fucking
That's
late
a,
fees that he had.
he couldn't afford a book. That's how bad his money is right now.
Motherfucker, shit's free.
It's a
Free
public
to get
library.
Joe.
Oh yeah, I
Public
forgot.
library.
I'm sorry, I forgot.
Free
It's been a long
Free-
time.
Get a fucking library
I
card, you
forgot.
idiot.
You're a novelist, boy.
He's like he's a shifty-eyed motherfucker.
The internet has destroyed my brain.
It's okay. Move on from there. Real quick note, I've noticed this. By this point in this movie, I realized that both Kathy Lutz actresses irritate the shit out of me
I
for
hate them.
different reasons. We're going to get into later on.
One says
Both of them-
baby,
both of
the
them
other
are
one is
remake.
just annoying.
I'm not gonna,
See-
don't even ruin my baby shit. We're going to talk about that when we talk about the remake.
I like both of them. I just didn't like Margot's character till the end because they all got over dramatic. It's her aging was ridiculous.
Joe,
that made no goddamn sense.
the one in this movie, I have a weird thing about speech impediments, and this chick had this weird like stink lip thing. Like she would talk like this
Oh, I
all
got
the
one.
time. And it drove me fucking crazy. No. There's a difference between like being tongue tied or like saying certain things weird or whatever. That's one thing. And then
Thank you.
there's
I'm
like
gonna call it tongue tied for now.
no, but
Yeah.
I mean I stutter and shit like that. It just is what it is. But
Rhode Island.
But then there's
No,
Motormouth guy.
I stutter really bad too.
But there's a thing about certain like she's got this like and I told me and Kristen watched both movies
Mhm.
together. K-Dog, my lady. And I said, what the fuck is up with her stink lip? It looks like she walked into somebody like the aftermath of somebody shitting. And like she always kind of looks like she's like putting her upper lip up like and it's the weirdest shit to me.
I still
Yeah,
like her.
George.
I still like her better than Princess Leia.
Daddy, baby.
Well, hey, it's because you saw that side titty, dog, as a youth. You never
No,
knew.
we saw
I'm
the.
not
Although
No, we
I'm
saw.
into
You
that.
see the
Princess
actual
Leia
titty.
in her Jabba the Hutt outfit, Carrie fucking Fisher was When you rewatch that for the 70s, I'm just saying.
That actually
Or
was
was
88, by the way.
that
Or
it? I'm sorry.
86.
What? Listen, motherfucker.
Return?
I'm young.
Return.
I'm not much of a star.
Return
Hey,
Jedi was like late 80s, wasn't it?
spoiler alert to everybody. I'm not much of a Star Wars guy, so I don't really know when the fucking movies came out.
Return of the Jedi was 83.
Shit,
Close
I'm
enough.
not much of a Star Wars guy. Wow, it feels
For
like
a lady back then, Carrie Fisher was. Anyways, that's besides the point.
Yeah.
So, moving forward, let's see here. Then what do we have? We have Creepy Jesus. Oh yeah. Then it goes to
Creepy
Creepy Jesus songs.
Jesus.
Creepy Jesus songs into a ghost rocking chair.
Oh, I
into
wrote that
creepy
too,
eyes
actually,
outside the
dude.
window.
That was
There was a
creepy as
weird
hell.
right. There was a weird like house spooky scene where it was like all a bunch of like rapid fire things going.
Yep.
Creepy Jesus songs hit the radio
Like
all
she's
of a
singing
sudden.
the Jesus song and the other chair's rocking with her, and I'm like,
Yes, sir. And then there's some creepy fucking red eyeballs out the window, and you're not quite sure what
another
it is. Is that
childhood
Jody?
scene.
Yeah.
Is that Jody?
That's
Yep.
Jody. That's Jody.
Okay.
That got me
And
when I
now
was
I
a kid,
know.
man.
I didn't know that.
Ran out of my room. I thought I saw
I
that.
wasn't expecting it, dude. When it happened, I was like, "Oh shit!" 70. Like it was nice.
So
You
guys,
don't- you
It
just-
looked
Are-
like it
you
looked
weren't
good and
sure-
creepy
expecting
until he moved like this.
Mhm.
That's where it got too fake. But at that first second, like whoa, and then because the
I
music
just
gets
realized
you, that music
early
really
on, real
gets really
quick.
good.
Call back. The kitchen scene. She sees a shadow. That's what I wrote down, and I
Yeah.
typed it out too fast.
that was definitely
There's a
Jody.
shadow that she sees, and she turns around, and it wasn't there. So that's what it was.
Yeah.
So she thought somebody was behind her. My bad. Anyways,
Now, are you noticing that we're not really we're talking a lot about the original and not really making references to the remake at all?
We were trying
Well,
to
it's
do that when we
because-
get to the remake.
No, we're going to talk about the remake in a second.
All right.
So
I just want to be fair. I'm trying to be fair.
Hold on.
No, he's
Here's the
right,
deal.
he's right.
Well,
No, we did kind of
we're
reference
gonna-
a little bit.
yeah, we're gonna guys. This is gonna be a long one. It's a special event, so it's probably gonna go closer to
I
2
said
hours,
2
like we were
hours.
saying earlier. We're
You
gonna
did.
go closer to 2 hours.
You did.
So we're gonna fast forward it a little bit. Try
Yeah,
to
we
get through
got
some of this creepy shit. We're pretty much near the end, anyways, because let's see, Jeff's crazy girlfriend trying to find. I don't know what the fuck it was. Demons behind the wall is another big difference between the remake. Where they finally show the basement,
That's
and she's like, "We're gonna get into
I
that." in a
hated
minute."
the red room in the original
the
movie.
fucking
Hated
red
it.
Don't
room.
like
That's
it?
all the reveal was. It's like he's
all
like,
of a sudden, hold on, and it was underneath the
Hated
stairs.
it.
It wasn't even like it was
It's
a
a-
terrible fucking.
it was a
See, I
Harry
like that
Potter
scene
room.
at the end. We felt
Yeah.
Stupid.
that's
And then ready?
really funny.
And then all of a sudden, when they go upstairs, bam, upside down cross. What's up? Foreshadowing to earlier.
Yeah.
And then oh shit, the
and
argument that
had like
turns
suit
into
on it too. That was kind of cool.
yep. Then all of a sudden it turns into an argument where George slaps Kathy, and
Oh,
like,
that
this
was
is
so
what-
cringy,
the
dude.
end. The
Oh
end
my
just
God.
happens. It was rough. And
Oh.
then the one thing I did love, the one thing about this is the end now. We're pretty much going to the grand finale.
Yeah,
and
'cause I
going
know
to the
we'll
remake.
probably compare. We'll get back
now,
and forth. So
now
we
that's
gotta
when
move.
we can actually talk about it.
Now we can start talking about the comparisons, because that's more what the remake is going to be. The biggest thing I liked about the end here, where like all of a sudden everything starts coming out, like, oh, we found the red room, and upside down cross happens, and oh, here
The
are
bleeding
the
walls
demonic
was really
energy.
cool.
Yes. I'm
Yeah,
not going to be mad at you for stealing it,
I knew
but
you
that's
get
where
yeah,
I was going.
I had to do it. I had to jump in.
The practical effects on the bleeding walls was
Mhm.
fucking wow.
Yeah.
I don't
Call
know how
back
the
to
fuck they
our
did that.
previous episodes where I've talked about that a million times. Practical effects rule fucking all. They just do. They just look better, man. Like beautifully well done.
And they
I
didn't
don't
rush
care what
it. They
everybody says.
stayed. It was
Nope.
like, it was bleeding out of the stairs, and then they
That was-
slipped on it, and
Fucking fantastic. That was
Mhm.
a beautiful shot, beautiful setup. The way they did that was great. I really effective. I really enjoyed the whole bleeding wall scene. That was fucking amazing. So good job there. And then the movie just fucking ends. Like it literally just like, I mean, I know that they start kind of running away from the house, and then
They
all of a sudden,
saved
like,
the
you see them in the
dog.
car. Then
save the dog.
Like-
Typical Alien did that. Poltergeist did that. They saved the damn animals. I mean, they should.
but like then all of a sudden, just like credits roll up, and it's like
Yeah.
the movie's just done, and like you don't really know what happens to them.
Well, it's
afterwards.
weird.
Like,
They
you
give the
do,
whole
but-
thing too. Like after 28 days, they that whole based on true story crap at the end, which
The ending, the way this movie ended, it was like a big, long, drawn out, like priest fest, and then a fucking hot shot of like creepy, spooky, like $10 effects with like the bleeding walls and a fucking red light in a basement, and then also the movie's done. And like
and that's what
the
pissed me off
problem.
with the great build, and then
Yeah, and then it just ends. You took fucking an hour and 52 minutes
Yeah.
to set up 8 minutes of fucking like decent
Erase the
scenes.
pre-scene
Like,
and add more bleeding stairs.
yeah, man.
So,
Thank you.
the
Get
way-
rid of the fucking. Get rid of the free shit.
Right.
They touch little boys anyways. We all know that.
Yeah.
Get them out of the fucking house. They don't belong
Keep the
there.
fly scene, the fly, and
Allegedly.
the talk
The
with
fly
kids.
scene was
That's still
dope.
good.
That allegedly.
Fly scene was dope, and the best acting, the Grammy
call.
fucking award winner in
Seriously.
that movie was when he was trying to explain how he saw a presence. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with a priest going, no, you gotta believe me. There's a presence. You
Yeah,
could
still
have
good.
cut
That was a
out
good scene.
all
I agree.
the other bullshit. He shows up real quick with the flies. Cut to him later on when he's trying to explain to everybody that fucking he saw something, he felt something. You can trim the priest down to 3 scenes max, and then you'll save minimum 20 minutes on this movie. It's just, and still by this point you still don't know the fucking kids' names. You barely see the kids ever. Like, you have no idea what's going on, and then the fucking movie just ends. And
Yeah.
as much as I like the slow build and as much praise as I can give the way they did some earlier stuff, man, like, talk about hot shotting a fucking finish. Like, the movie just stops. It just ends.
Yeah.
And and that's it. Like,
So,
okay.
in my notes, how I compared it, so what I actually said, that
I'm gonna
last
let
scene.
you talk. I have to pee. I'll be right back. You keep going.
No,
You guys
that's
talk about
fine. So how
I'm
I
motor mouth
compared
right
that
now.
scene was, Joe, have you ever had that feeling of like, oh fuck, dude, I'm gonna sneeze. This is gonna be a big one. I'm gonna sneeze. I gotta sneeze so fucking bad, and you're like,
That is a great analogy.
and then nothing happens. That's exactly what that entire.
And you get pissed because it's still, you still feel it, and it should happen, but it's
Yep.
not gonna happen.
And then it's just like they went to a different state. Okay.
They moved, but we're not gonna talk about the other stuff afterwards, like I just talked about.
Yeah.
The media craze.
So they never once talked about that, and that just fucking drove me crazy. How it's just like, nope, they got away from the house and problem solved. Everything's good. So if you want to start talking about that type of stuff right now, then by all means, dude, the floor is yours.
No, I mean, we essentially, like, the Red Room was really. I remember that scene again. A lot of scenes scared me as a kid, and I rewatch them when I'm older. I'm like, what the hell? This is not what I remembered.
No, for sure.
Seeing his face, and we did talk about a little bit like how James Brolin is supposed to look like Ronnie, which is really cool. He looked, a lot of people say it in the town. It almost felt like a little bit of a town conspiracy in some scenes. I thought was kind of cool. Wasn't really needed, but so that was neat when he saw his face in the wall, but still, like.
And they just never bring that up in the remake, and I know that there's a reason, but
no, they kind of did. They kind of did, and that's why I think the remake does better. We'll get to it more. We'll get to more a little bit later, but I think the remake with the Red Room was perfect to me.
Yeah,
because we have to wait till Ed gets back.
No, I totally agree. And that's where, like, I feel like we're being too not unfair. We're not being too unfair. Oh God. We're not being too unfair to the remake, but there's so much more to talk about. See, and I'm just gonna keep talking.
Just watch out. We'll make sure you don't throw an axe to the camera.
He's gonna flex really quick. Yeet.
yeah.
We're not being too unfair.
You toxic axe thrower.
But I feel like with the original movie, there's so much more to talk about comparatively. Because I hope Ed gets his headphones on soon. Can I?
I can hear you.
Oh,
I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you through the wall in the bathroom. My bathroom's literally right next door to
All right, that's fine. Can I please just say my goddamn thing about the remake?
Do it.
I don't know what I missed.
Dude, it is because we talked about the end. We talked about all that stuff. Dude, the fucking ending of the movie is so goddamn separate. I mean, the whole movie is so fucking separate from the remake. It's not even funny. The two movies, in my opinion, couldn't be more different if they tried.
That's good though.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not. Okay. I'm just saying for the point of what the three of us are all talking about. It was really hard to incorporate discussions about the OG movie and the remake because the fucking two movies are so separate. Because especially in the way,
I don't agree.
You have to take into account. When they had the big gigantic reveal of this red room in the basement, the fucking remake did it so much better because you had the Ketchum guy and he fucking slits his throat and you had all that stuff. I love
that scene.
You had all that stuff. The big reveal in the OG was just a shitty, stupid fucking Harry Potter red room with a blood floor. It's stupid.
Again, you have to realize too. So what I do have to give the original is it was a super low budget movie. This movie wasn't made for very much money. There was
We're just kind of funny with the people involved.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, now looking back, you know that there were some big name people, but like back then, it wasn't like that. We're gonna definitely transition as soon as Ben gets back. We'll really dive into the remake
I
because we
can
can
hear
tear
ya.
through the remake pretty fast. Well,
Well,
you know,
let's go with some major points that where the remake where one thing I really want to jump into right away with the remake is
all right,
it's 30 minutes shorter. That's
yeah,
one.
it's way faster.
Two,
And not
not only is
just
it
time
30
wise,
minutes
this movie
shorter,
it
it
moves.
yeah, I was saying that. I was like, it made me almost kind of wish it slowed down a little bit.
I agree. I
A
actually
little
agree.
bit, not a lot, a little bit. There's some
Where the
points
other
that
one was too slow and too long, this one was
yep,
a little too fast and
too
too short.
fast. But
This
a
one,
lot
they
of cool
both
stuff
could have been.
happened throughout the movie.
If both were about an hour and 40, hour and 45, they
Yep.
both would have been perfect.
Yep.
Or a lot better off. They wouldn't have been
Yep.
perfect. But challenge for everybody watching this now. If you go and do your own rewatch of these two movies, Ben kind of hinted on this earlier, but I wanted to throw this out there. As a fun, do this responsibly. I'm going to say that now. I'm not going to sued for anybody being an asshole. Go rewatch the remake if you haven't seen it in a while, and take a shot for every time the actress in the remake says baby. You will be fucking annihilated within 20 minutes.
It's bad.
I missed that. I didn't see that.
Mom says it.
She says
every other word. She calls George that. She calls her fucking kids that. Mm-hmm. There's some sentences in this movie, like some scenes in this movie, she says it like 8 times. Like, oh baby, I'm sorry, baby. It drives me fucking crazy sometimes. But I try to look past it. But go and do that. Just have a fun, do a counter.
Drink responsibly.
Count them. Yeah, drink responsibly, but be as irresponsible as possible with this. Only drink a shot when she says baby, and I guarantee you won't remember the rest of the movie. You're not going to get through the
half hour. No, you won't remember.
But anyways, that's my challenge to you. That we can call that the Bonded by Horror.
Bonded by Horror.
Bonded by Horror.
The old baby challenge.
Yeah, the old baby.
No, baby. Don't put baby challenge in that. No, Jesus.
Let's go into.
We call that
baby shot challenge. No, that's gross.
No,
do a baby shot for All right, so let's get into so when we talk about the remake, we're pretty much going to talk about the similarities that we might have already discussed a little bit, and then some of the points that are different that we liked. Right, so we're going to be able to get through this one a little bit faster. We all know this one a lot better too.
Yeah, we didn't mention a lot of it in the previous conversation too. So
already right away, the way the movie opens up is, even though it's similar, it's worlds different. It sets an entirely different tone. First one sets like an eerie tone, like more of an atmospheric tone, like it leaves a little bit of to the imagination of the viewer. You can tell the gunshots are happening. You don't quite know what he's doing, and then all of a sudden, when the cops come out, and then slowly the movie tells you that the family was killed. This movie, but realistically, it makes sense. By this point, we know the fucking story, so the movie shows you the story. Hey, you know that the family was killed. We're gonna show it to you and set up a different tone. And this movie starts off with Ronnie walking through the house slowly. First, it shows creepy ass fucking Ronnie sleeping in the basement. And then 3:15 clicks in.
Which actually, that's close to the truth, by the way.
Yeah, which I'm sure it is. And they actually show it, and they show him being all creepy, loading a fucking gun, and then trying to
TV talking to him.
Yeah, you can almost kind of tell he's trying to fight it off, and then finally 3:15 happens, and bam, that trigger just gets fucking.
Apparently, he took LSD before this happened too.
Which very well could happen. That was a big thing back then. Look up MK Ultra if you've never heard of it. I'm not going to get into that right now. But
put that out there.
Look up MK Ultra if you've never heard of that.
Wait, what?
You're welcome.
Is that a Mortal Kombat?
Was part of MK Ultra.
No.
Is that a Mortal Kombat game?
No.
It's like Mortal Kombat 20.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat Charlie. I get more like Charles Manson. But look up MK Ultra. Kids,
shout out Charles Manson, everybody. Make sure to like,
shout
comment, and subscribe.
Uncle Charlie, how you doing? All right, so
hashtag Charlie did nothing wrong.
Hell.
We're having fun now. We're having fun. We're a horror show.
Oh, Jesus.
I like how they do this. I like how you don't actually see him kill people. You kind of do. You see him pull the trigger, and then all of a sudden it'll flash to a picture of almost like a crime scene photo of the splatter and the bodies. Yeah. I don't know if anybody else caught that. I like that. I actually enjoyed the fact that it's doing both. It's setting that up. What were you gonna say, Joe? You like?
Go with you in the crime scene photos. Those are actual crime scene photos from the real murders.
Yeah, and they took
Really?
yeah,
I
they
didn't know
took
that.
the actual news articles too.
Yep.
And like the news the news video footage.
Yeah,
They
it's
did
and
the
it
real
really does
stuff.
make it authentic, but I'm also kind of like, whoa, that is ballsy. That is wild. But you know, they did that with a lot of even with the Texas Chainsaw remakes. They did stuff like that. Those are all fake, of course. But they
Fucking
did
Joe,
similar.
god damn it.
Platinum
That's what I was
Dunes,
gonna
man.
say.
They got a
Platinum
fucking
Dunes,
theme, bro. They got a
fucking
theme.
Texas
Come on.
Chainsaw did it
Come on.
first. That's why I didn't
Gotta
care
keep it
for
going.
it.
Look who you're
Gotta
talking
keep it going.
to. Of course, we're gonna bring that shit up.
Motherfucker.
Gotta keep it going. Gotta keep it going.
Damn it.
So
That's what I was gonna say.
So that sets it up early, and I do like the early setup of like the. See, I know Joe has. I don't know how you feel about this, but I enjoyed the Jodie character in this movie, even though whether it was real or not, I they used it as a plot
Split.
point to like move the
Split.
storyline. I enjoyed it personally because this movie came out in 2005. My daughter was 5, so she was about the age of Jodie, so that's why it kind of like it
So that
always
hits you a
creeped me
little
out.
bit.
So it hits me. It always hit me a little weird when I saw this in theaters. Sorry, excuse me. But like the scene where like Jodie, it's tough to watch, man. Like when she's hiding in the closet and she's like, Ronnie, you know, what's the matter, Ronnie, whatever, and he's like,
Yeah, that's equally
But
cheesy, but not at the same time. Like you got that balance. Like, oh,
it's
this is silly, but it's still disturbing.
here's the thing that era of movies became tropey and like you know
Mid 2000s, very tropey.
yeah, like after this movie is really when like things became like you know like jump scares really took over the fucking the horror
Yeah.
world, and this was before that. So like if you're looking at this with fresh eyes, like now it's not going to seem it's not going to feel fresh to you. It's going to feel like, oh, I've seen this a million times.
The director's a big fan of J horror, Asian horror as well too. He kind of incorporated that.
Yeah, and you kind of see it. You
That's
see
a big
this
thing
is-
on it too. Yep.
It's got feelings of like The Ring, and it's got feelings of fucking like that style of stuff. So
It definitely gave
kind
off
of stayed away with
the
the
Grudge
photography.
vibes with Jodie.
Yeah.
That's the first
Yeah.
thing I thought, especially in the remake specifically, especially with at the end when you see Jodie at the very end and she's just
I
standing
hate
there.
that scene.
That scene was so fucking stupid. That was so dumb.
I like the house coming back together. But
Yeah.
I hated
so dumb.
the.
The end scene where she gets dragged down, that scene
Oh,
does not hold up well.
It's
The
like,
CGI looks fucking
They didn't have
horrible.
to
It doesn't
do
hold up
that.
at all.
They didn't
They
have
didn't
to
have
do
to do
that.
They
and
didn't.
I wonder if they
It
were
was
doing
just
that to
one
kinda
more
make you
jump
feel for the
scare.
victim, kind of maybe.
No, it was a jump
No,
scare.
it
It was
was-
one last.
but
It was.
it's
It was
not-
supposed
It
to.
was totally.
Didn't work.
No, it was. I can explain it. It was.
In the theater, it did. In the theater, it was
you.
loud.
Yep.
And it was. Yeah, exactly. In
It
the
was
theater, it was
only-
really loud, and you were like, "Oh fuck!"
I don't think
And
I
that's
saw
all
it.
it was,
Did I
man.
see it? I don't
So let
remember.
me.
I don't know, but
so
I saw it
that,
twice.
That's when IMAX was starting to get really big, and in Platinum Dune started to show more horror films at IMAX. And that big
Michael
screen
Bay.
with the big horror. I mean, with the big sound system and stuff.
Michael Bay should have stuck with Bad Boys.
So that was their way of getting
Although-
that one last punch. Was that
Real quick, the
Love
newest Bad Boys movie, if you guys haven't seen it, really good.
It's
actually.
really
Really
good.
Very,
badass. I
It's
liked it.
really
I
fucking
really
good.
enjoyed that new movie. That's not a horror movie, guys. Keep on going.
No, but yeah,
Like,
great. And that's
All
not
right.
Michael Bay, by the way. That's Jeremy Buckheimer.
Now it is.
Jeremy
Yeah, now it is. But no, the first Bad Boys was Michael Bay
Bay.
though.
Yeah, he directed both.
Oh, what the fuck
first
do I know?
Yeah. I think they were a team though. I think that Ben, look it up. Or
No,
No, we're not gonna spend time.
we don't
on this
have
shit.
to fucking.
I'm positive
I
that
don't-
he was because he did that. He did Pain and Gain. He
Yeah,
did fucking,
I don't have to
Yeah.
Nadav Google fucking
No.
Bad Boys 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Anyways, doesn't matter. Let's keep on moving. We got people
So,
watching.
We
Then so early on, I do also like. So this is when right after this is when we kind of hit right into seeing Reynolds, right? So we break into Reynolds and like it's him and Kathy laying in
yeah,
bed
he's
and
gonna break down on the Reynolds
home.
scenes real quick.
Yeah, and Ryan Reynolds immediately you feel the difference. Granted, he is a comedic genius with some things, and then some things early on in his acting career, like don't ever watch Blade 3, one of the worst movies of all time. Horrible. That movie's
I
bad.
actually like it, but I agree it's not that great. Too.
I
like
hate
it.
that movie. I fucking hate
That's a
that movie
guilty-
with
that's
a
a guilty
passion.
pleasure for me.
I'm gonna just imagine you didn't say that. So
It's okay. I'm not
good.
gonna. Yeah,
If we're gonna have a
not
Sherman
alarm.
fight, let me time this
Nope.
so we don't.
nope, it's all good. I'll remember
Wait.
that for later.
Do you wait? Does Ben? Do you like it or do you not like it? Blade 3?
Obviously, it's not as good as the first two, but it's still good.
I'm with Ben on that. I'm with Ben on that.
No, y'all are fucking crazy.
Fucking
We'll talk
Triple
about that
H
in a
when he
minute.
talks about getting his ass raped, and I actually that's a quote.
Well,
I'm not
Eddie
just saying
hates
that.
that.
Fucking ass
Eddie
raped us.
Hates that
Horrible.
line. He hates
It's
it.
horrible. It's the
not that
worst.
It's kind of
Ryan Reynolds, listen to me, guys. Ryan Reynolds, when he fucking like ad libs, is good some of the time. And like Deadpool, he kills it. In that movie, he's horrible. There's horrible lines. The
My
only people that
favorite.
enjoy that kind of stuff is like 12-year-olds that are like, "Oh, I never said the word fuck before.
I
Oh,
was
they say it 20
12.
times."
I was 12 when this movie came out. You have to
And you're
understand
dumb.
that.
Well, there you go. And he
I
never
win.
grew up.
I win.
What are
So
we, Peter Pan? Go ahead.
right. So this is my favorite Ryan Reynolds scene ever. I don't care anything. Like he is. I think he's fantastic in this. I do agree. Like some of his like comedic stuff is great, but also it's kind of weird seeing it back to back with like the tough guy James Brolin. It almost. I don't think it's modernized. I think it's authentic. It's authentic. You know like you don't you're seeing a different perspective on a different time period.
Well, back then, both guys were around. Like there were, I mean, there still are like the James Brolin version nowadays, but very few and far between.
Yeah.
But back then, there were both guys. Like there were like happier-go-lucky guys, like the Reynolds version.
Yeah, exactly. And that's great too because like
no, all I was gonna say was real quick, just to throw the line out there. Like you set up how he does have some, like he's how nicer of a guy he is, or a little more playful in this movie, where the little kid with like the snorkel buck. I'm gonna call him Bucktooth. I think his name is Michael.
His name's Michael. Actually,
Mikey,
we know his name.
So Bucktooth shows up. Hey, what are you doing to my mom? And he goes, nothing yet. And I love it. I love that
That's
little.
So Ryan Reynolds. That's so Ryan. Reynolds.
I have a very similar.
Yeah.
Sense to myself. Like that's how me and my wife are. Like, and it's
no way.
That's I love that quick wit. So.
And same thing that I'll give Ryan Reynolds credit to. When Kathy's mother calls.
Abs. I mean,
he was so hot in the movie. When Kathy's mother calls and he's like, "Oh, it's your mom," and he does like the right. That to me, that's the Ryan Reynolds thing, and like he does like the fucking quick one-liners like back to back to back to back.
Yeah, well,
and
now that we know, now that we've had 20 years of Ryan Reynolds in movies and we know his humor and his quick wit, like now when you look back on this movie, you go, "Oh, this was him just having fun with a lot of the stuff." You can tell what was him, and like what wasn't. Back then you knew him from Van Wilder and this, and that was about it. Like he had a couple of other things, but not much.
So I will say, I did.
Talking about Waiting. Waiting was really good.
Waiting is fucking awesome. I did try to look up some stuff about both movies. I didn't find. I let Joe handle the OG movie, but I'm
not done.
I will talk about Ryan Reynolds in this, and apparently he got to same thing. He got to do his fucking Ryan Reynolds thing because they saw him in Van Wilder and he was really good in that, and they, he improv'd a lot of that too. He did improv a lot of his like quips, like his quick like one-liners thing. Specifically to New Amsterdam. No, specifically, remember the part where he finally snaps at 3:15 and he's about to kill his family? He's walking up the stairs and then he just walks by.
Oh, the gun! He punches the fucking window. Mirror.
The paint.
He breaks
the
picture.
That was him.
Yep.
That wasn't.
Fucking,
that was all him.
That's beautiful. Like that little eye to detail. I'm glad you brought that up.
That was Ryan Reynolds doing that.
Real quick, to anybody watching this, the remake, because we all know it so well, it's not going to be quite linear like the first one that we reviewed. Like the first one, we reviewed it more like we reviewed the other two movies that we've done so far.
Which I think is fair.
If we go linear, this we'll be at it all night too.
Yeah, no.
So we're going to kind of jump around a little bit more, talk about the scenes that were similar, and talk about the little nuance that we liked a little bit more. So.
And the list is very short, in my opinion. That's where.
I'm glad that you said that, but I'm gonna circle back. Give me 2 seconds. Real quick. So go back to the similarities with them walking through the house. That's what I want to talk about. What do you guys think about how they set up like them seeing the house for the first time? Like it's similar in the aspect of he's a construction worker, and it's clearly should be out of their price range. But what did you think about the two different setups? Like I actually thought it was a little bit, like this one leans more towards the horror side of it, right? Like leans more towards the creepiness. And go ahead.
I'm gonna take the reins quick from Joe because this is where I can immediately say they nailed it in the OG, because dude, they fucking start planting the seeds so quick with George and Kathy being butting heads the fucking second before they even walk into the house. And I wrote that this is the first thing I wrote down, is the first thing that stood out to me was when they first started talking, and when the realtor's name, whatever her name is. She goes,
Real
oh,
estate lady.
she goes, oh, I hope you guys weren't waiting too long. And George says about a half hour, and he says it like a dick. And then Kathy says, oh, not too long. And she says it like a gentle. She says it very polite. Dude, George says it like a dickhead, like straight up from the cuff. He says it, and they both look at each other like, what the fuck did you just say? And they both did
Is
that.
that with the remake or the OG?
No, the OG.
No, that's the OG. He's right.
Dude,
Okay,
they that was the very first thing that got me, and I was like, holy shit. They started planting the seeds for them are bickering at each other fucking quick. He didn't even step into the house yet.
Yeah. I'll play off that with the remake. With the remake where Ryan Reynolds was playful. He stayed with his playful character. He don't really start. What I like about him being more playful is like you start seeing. It's almost like a metaphor. We start losing it. It's almost kind of like the pressure of being a stepfather and with his family, and you really see a lot.
Yeah.
You guys throw a good point with the first movie. You don't see the kids a lot. With the first
movie.
This movie,
right away.
You see his relationship with the older son. You see the relationship with the younger one, the daughter, and big shout out to Chloe.
Grace Moretz.
Grace Moretz.
Chloe
Grace Moretz.
I
couldn't fucking believe it, dude.
Okay?
I've seen this movie a shitload of times.
movie.
I forgot she was in this, and I even wrote that down. I wrote down, holy shit, Chloe Grace Moretz.
Carrie
Her name is Chelsea in this movie, by the way.
Shout out to Tom and Jerry, little hit classic for you guys on HBO Max.
I'm good.
She's in that.
Anyways, moving on from that.
So we are approaching. We are an hour and 50 in. So I just want to tell you guys that for
whatever.
An hour 50.
Oh wow!
So I just want to tell Joe that for full transparency.
Okay, thank you.
Whatever. We're having fun. Keep it going for now. So then they set that up, and then fucking. Here's the thing. So it goes from that to. I like how they again when you see the little kid. What this movie does with the kids. This movie, instead of the priest bullshit storyline, this movie uses the kids to set up like the tension and the suspense, and I prefer that. I thought that was a way better. The movie is supposed to be about a family being haunted in a fucking house, a family,
right? And see how it
not a fucking priest showing up and fucking being like. I don't care if you like the original more than this one, cool. You must be like you're also probably the same dude that like. Is the elitist guy who doesn't like people that you're probably also the same dude at a death metal show.
Well, don't scare our fans away.
Yeah, hates the dude that like has a Slipknot shirt on, but nowadays they're one and the same.
We love Slipknot.
Like, I don't hate Slipknot.
We love Corey Taylor.
But like, it's I'm just simply saying like, I get it. I'm a purist about some movies too. Like there are some movies that shouldn't be redone, and I think have been terribly redone. And then there are movies that do it right. I feel like this movie did it right. I personally, out of the two, enjoy this story better. I think that this movie plays off of the actual family aspect of it better. Like in my opinion, that's the real story. It's how was the family affected by this? Because it's not just George and Kathy Lutz. It's George and Kathy's kids and Kathy.
And that goes with how does kids? One of the things they go into was like their biological father passed away.
Right.
So you got that pressure. You got the pressure of a newly married
couple.
Man.
With stepfather.
Is he taking their place? And they really playing that very well.
Not having any of his own kids, taking on 3 kids, dude. Taking on 1 is tough. Taking on 3, like that's a lot, man. And how are you going to step up? You can speak to this personally, Joe. Like in a similar sense, not to get into family stuff, but like that's a little closer to home for you.
Yeah.
Like. Mark, in my opinion, did it right. Like he's a good man. So like, shout out to Mark, and that's a lot. And now as an adult, you can look back and go like, wow, yeah, that was a lot to take on. And maybe not everything he did was perfect or whatever the case may be. But how would you react to that? Like that's what you have to think about, right? Like, how would you take on kids? Because having your own is not the same thing as like taking on.
Right.
So you either have to decide that they're going to be yours, or there's always going to be an awkward rift there. And this movie kind of plays on that. This movie, having a kid of my own, I can tell you, like, before me and K-Dog got back together, I dated girls with kids, in between my story. And it was always awkward. It never, like, I couldn't do it. Like, and I never was able to, I always kind of like compared the other kids to my kid. So I don't know how it would be because I've had a kid longer than I've been a dad longer than I've been anything else as far as like a professional goes. I've had my daughter when I was 15. So, her being almost 21, like all I know is being a dad, essentially. But what I can compare it to is it's hard for me to accept other people's kids as in a romantic sense, um, because I'm just always going to compare the other kids to my kid, and in my eyes, nobody has ugly kids, nobody has fucking like stinky shits. Like it's one and the same. Like nobody thinks their own poop smells, and nobody thinks that they have an ugly kid or an asshole kid. You know what I mean? Like it just is what it is. Like so, like
And if
you're always
you want to take anything from this episode, everybody, take that right there.
nobody has ugly kids, and nobody takes stinky shits. It's the two things in life. It's just like death and taxes. You know they're the same, but it just is what it is.
God.
Philosophy by Eddie Vegas, guys. You're welcome.
So,
anyways, to move on from it, it's I like that storyline of this movie a bit better, personally. And I think that the original could have done that, and I think it would have been amazing, especially the fact that it was actually in the era
I
of
will
when it
end
came
on
out.
that. Actually, no, why?
What's good. So then we'll move a little bit more forward through this one. So you get a lot of scenes that kind of call back. This movie does move a lot faster. It's a lot more quick paced. You can tell that we're in the 2000s now because this movie just fucking moves. It doesn't leave a lot of fat, and it doesn't do like a lot of the long still shots, and it doesn't. I brought that up on the other one. I don't like the fact that they didn't utilize the house much early on. I don't like the couple still shots of the house that they used. It's just like lightning effect in the background. They could have done so much more with it.
Yeah, it wasn't enough.
They really could have done a lot more with it. This one really, instead of the house being the villain, there's a ghost that occupies the house, or an entity that occupies the house. That's
I mean, actually, the house does do stuff near the end when it tries to trap them, which I like that.
Yeah, but it's not the house doing it. It's an
Right.
entity controlling the house doing it. Where in the original, it's the house. You don't really know whether it's the house. In other words, like
in the OG, I feel
you don't see
it. That's my problem. I feel like it's a lot more up to interpretation. That's where I try to give the OG one a lot more credit than credit deserves, because you have the little girl try to talk about Jody and try to talk about the fact
and you never see her.
Yeah, and you never see her. Whereas
no, you do see Jody at one point.
You do see Jody, and well, you do get the awesome thing with the bullet in her head, and she takes the babysitter's finger.
We're gonna get into that.
Saying.
All right, fuck it. Let's compare babysitter scenes, right? Babysitter scene. All right, we're gonna go cons and pros, right? Con, brace face babysitter, not as hot as 2005 babysitter. That's obvious.
That was the whole point.
You know she's a teenager, right?
Yep.
How's that handsome man doing?
How fucking? Here's the thing. How awkward was that scene though? Where like, oh, we found a babysitter for the night. We've never met her before. We've never seen her before, and she just shows up wearing like nothing. And like, I wouldn't leave my kid. I don't give a fuck how hot she is. I did like though, because there's a lot of time before this. We're gonna cut through a lot to get to the scene, but like my Billy, the oldest son, and George have had a lot of tension moments.
A great guy moment. I thought was kind of funny actually. Like a great
coming of age. This is a great coming of age.
Oh, it was a coming of age.
Yeah, we're like you have the teenage adolescent son, prepubescent, right around that age where we're all becoming dudes, right?
Yep.
Got a little fuzz in the peach, and you think you're fucking bigger than what you really are, and you're like, I don't need a babysitter, I'm not a baby, blah blah blah, and then she shows up and you're like, whew. Even Daddy don't want to go on a date. Daddy wants to be babysat too, and
no, he doesn't.
Well, no. Although his wife is rather attractive as well, so good for him. My point is, what the fuck does he say? Like, I wrote it down. God damn it.
He said, "Are you sure you don't want to babysitter?" I knew you would.
Yes,
I knew you would.
Yeah, love the difference between babysitters and how Billy babysitter shows up. There's a smoke show. They say, I fucking didn't. I didn't write it down.
I can't shit talk because I'm like Billy, dude. I love Kiss, so I get it.
Oh, speaking of which,
that was really cool. And you guys love that too.
He's got the underground fucking Japanese shirts with the.
Yep.
Early on in the movie, there's a point where he's like helping unstack wood or something, and he turns around and he's the first wood scene, and he's got the jean jacket on. His fucking Kiss jean jacket is tight.
Fucking sick.
And I mean, like, that's just dope.
I actually wish I had that same thing.
There's a lot of to go backwards a little bit. I do like they do come up some of the similarities with the two movies. So Reynolds' version, does start feeling cold, but not to the point where the original does. But you see that, but that's more of an excuse to get him down to the basement.
Mm-hmm.
The original,
Yeah, they jumped the basement right away, which I like that.
Yeah, they utilize the basement right away, which draws him down where the aura and the entity really is. Right, that's where the evil is, or where it sucks him in. So that's their way, and like he's got to keep on stoking the fire. They didn't do that with the original. The original was just, oh, I'm sick. I don't know why. Motherfucker, could be asbestos. Back then, bad pipes. Lead pipes will fucking kill you. You know what I mean? It could be argon. I don't fucking know. What other fucking random chemical that they used to pump in our system? Mercury, whatever.
Teflon.
As far as grounds layout, both movies have both movies have boathouses. The original had like an outbuilding or a shed where George Lutz in the first movie, James Brolin says, "I'll use that as my office." This movie, Reynolds is going to use the basement as his office.
I don't know what that feeling is.
Well, right, nothing wrong with the basement, but when you're running a construction company and probably need an office that you can hide some tools in, you're not going to want to lug them up and downstairs. You'd rather have an outbuilding in the back. So I thought
that's good little detail you caught there.
Yeah, I do like the way that the grounds were laid out a little bit better in the original, and I'll be honest as far as that goes. But this one, they're foreshadowing, back that term of, well, it's somehow, some way Reynolds is going to the basement. Somehow, some way the entity is going to get him in the basement. Then he goes down there. He thinks he hears something. Finds the fucking the unplugged 3:15 clock from Ronnie that's still in the basement. There's a lot of things
that's a really good little scene.
It was a great scene. I'm trying to think. I don't want to fast forward too many times. What I'm trying to do is link up like the similarities between the two movies to try to give you the grounds, because you don't need the whole fucking story again. What else was similar? Oh, the date scene. So in this movie, instead of the bullshit wedding plot hole, they go on a date.
It was actually them going for dinner, which actually I thought worked.
I thought worked very well, and I really, personally, I enjoyed how he feels better when he gets away from the home versus,
and he loses his shit again when he gets home.
As soon as he gets home, and he's worse. Like now it's got him even harder because he walked away for a minute. Now that's when his pupils start turning red, or his eyes start turning red.
And they play up the whole like thing with the babysitter again, and then so then he gets mad at the kids, and he gets really like snappy, and he's trying to take over now instead of letting the mother do it. Oh yeah, that was a good scene.
Yep, very good scene. And this is also right when you really start seeing more of Chloe Grace Moretz like playing with Jodie and having visions of Jodie, or and then the fucking scene where Ryan Reynolds is supposed to be paying attention to her. Where's Jodie? I don't know. And Jodie's up on the roof. And
Chelsea.
Chelsea, thank you. Yeah, Chloe is a real name, Chloe Grace Moretz. But yeah, Chelsea, thank you. Chelsea's up on the roof, dude. As somebody that has a fucking
intense scene.
As somebody that has a fear of heights, that fucking scene is horrifying.
Yep.
That scene looks
shot.
Super real. You don't see any cables. There's no CGI. That looks like I'm pretty sure that was a little girl on top of a roof, just with I don't know. I don't know how they did it. But
I seen the making of that was they had her up there with a strap on and
yeah, they had to have invisible wires, but still it was really good because that was all one shot, dude, from Ryan Reynolds.
That panning shot showing you see the depth of how high she is. You see the depth of the surrounding area.
Yeah, and that house is built. That's a big time set. That's a set that one. Yeah. That was in different kind of built different than the other house in the original movie too. But sorry, go ahead. I want to throw it in there.
No, I just want to say that scene, one of my favorite scenes in the movie. All the stuff with Jodie leading up to this, I really liked. When Reynolds comes around the corner, after they get her off the roof, and the mom's talking to her, and she's like, "Oh, do you miss your dad?" Yeah, I miss. That was heartbreaking. When she was trying to talk to the girl, how she misses her dead dad.
Yeah, like imaginary friends leading her to her dead father.
Yep, and that scene was fucking crushing, dude. Like it fucking ruins the inside to hear that. It's terrifying. That's one of the scariest moments in the movie, and there's nothing scary about it. It's just a little girl talking about Jodie saying, I can. It's giving me goosebumps, dude. Like I can show you your dad if you and you'll stay here with me and we'll play forever if you just follow me. Like dude, it's giving me fucking.
It's a go. It's me the fuck I'll keep saying Spectre. It's a little Spectre taking advantage of a very impressionable.
My nipples. I'm so fucking like skin crawling. My nipples are gonna cut glass right now. Like my blood is like. That scene scares the shit out of me, man. The height scene scares me, but her talking about like how Jodie tried talking her into it is
Because I didn't like the CGI with Jodie and some Jodie scenes, but
some of the Jodie scenes
the interaction of the character and how they use it for the plot worked very well.
Dude, the fucking the finger in the fucking forehead. I don't care. That looked fantastic.
That worked pretty good. That was cringy with the babysitter.
The
Yeah, that was
babysitter,
really
that
good.
was fantastic. And then it pans to the back of Jody's head, and it's all fucking
Yeah, the
blown out.
gunshot. Yeah,
It was so
it's
good.
always disturbing when you see stuff like that with children. So that's why they played it so well. They didn't like force it
Right.
on you too bad. They just played it just right.
So what I some of the things I wrote down here, I'm kind of just going off memory now because I know this movie so well. Here's one of the things that I liked better about this and why the family aspect works better. Horror through a child's eyes is far scarier and more believable than horror through an adult's eyes.
Right. So like when the
Horror through a fucking priest who thinks he believes in fake fucking things, like if you don't believe in religion, God is fake, right? Or if you don't believe in
Allegedly.
ghosts are fake or demons are fake or whatever. But like if a priest bullshits and fucking says that he believes in this entity and you don't believe him, a little kid, man, every little kid you'll ever met, you'll ever talk to has a fucking imaginary friend or like will talk to themselves or will see things or will have very, very vivid dreams or will tell you like kids are creepy, man. Kids are fucking scary. Like they just
That's
I
what a
think it's
quote.
because
Kids are creepy, man.
Kids are creepy.
Kids are
Creepy
fucking
kid
creepy.
movies. Oh, creepy kid
I don't like
It's
kids.
because
They're creepy.
little kids are their imaginations are completely free because they're not held to the fucking limitations that we are as adults. So like they're allowed to not worry about bills and modern things and worrying about how they're going to make their next move. They're just worried about playing and they're just worried about seeing things and they're letting their imaginations totally free. And if you let a kid be a kid, they're going to come up with some fucking wild shit sometimes.
Yeah.
And with using the kids as like the main driving force of the horror in this movie or the suspense in this movie, phenomenal. If you've ever lived in a fucking rough household, you know what it's like to be around an abusive dad, and seeing George, who is set up, Ryan Reynolds, is set up as a nice, playful guy. And he's just doing the best he can. And oh man, did I take on too much as a fucking dad, like with this the smoking hot wife with these 3 kids? That's a lot. You're gonna deal with the kids are already damaged because their dad died. Now they're fucking taking you on. Goddamn, Chelsea is how old in this movie, and they're already
10.
married. Like, right. So like everybody's young, and it's just one of those things where like you feel all that, man. Like I don't know, maybe it's just because it's more modernized. I don't know, even though it's a tale from back then, but it's you guys see where I'm going with that? Like it's
See, my thing is,
I was gonna say, Scrooge, you want to throw one in, and I'll throw my thing.
I feel like it applies more to Ed than it applies to me because he kind of understands that more. Because he's like Billy.
We live separate lives, yeah.
He's like Billy, where he was X amount of years old. Let's just say decade about when our dad not trying to make it.
Me and Ben are essentially 2 different generations. We are 2 different generations. We're 10 years apart.
By legality, yes.
And if you look at, I believe, if you look at how it works, it's every 6 years or so, every 5 or 6 years that a kid is almost like a single child. Like I was essentially a single child because I was the only kid until about 6, and then my sister was born, and then Cassie and Ben are like actually brother and sister because they're less than 3 years apart. So they're almost like twins. Like they grew up very similar in age, very similar time frame. The internet, the friends, they knew a lot of the same people growing up in.
Oh no! Ah!
As he's doing like the little puppet thing, that has to be that's a reoccurring skit.
It happened.
That's a reoccurring skit.
Is he gonna come back? Is he come back? Because if not,
no. It's what's gonna happen based on what's happened.
Every time he's in some kind of a rant, it breaks.
Yeah, it fucking breaks. So this is where I can at least take the reins and.
It's very sentimental.
He's doing like a little puppet thing right now. So what I'll say is I get what he's trying to say. Ed is literally so me and him are, for people that don't know, we are quite literally we're we're not a burp.
Good shot.
We're blood related. Me and him are actually brothers. Same mom, same dad. But we're 9 years apart. He is 38. I'm
37.
Right? No, he's 37.
He's about 36, 37 years.
And
he's about 3 years younger.
No, he's 36. I'm 27.
Yeah,
that's right. Holy shit! Whoa!
Wow!
My God, sorry. Yeah, he's 36. I'm 27. So there's a lot that went on between my dad and my mom. So it's much easier to pinpoint, and it's much easier to make a comparison between. Oh, yep, there it goes. Between Billy and George and me and George. Because yeah, there it
Hey,
is.
We knew you. We knew
Always-
you were gonna break at some
Always doing
point.
that. Yeah, that's gonna be a
every
I
time
did
recurring
you
my
thing.
best. I'm sorry.
So you
I'm
break in
sorry.
rants, you break when you're sentimental. But Ben was just
God
talking
damn it.
about your age difference and what you
Yeah.
guys both seen. And then we talked about earlier. It's like I don't talk about my personal stuff yet, but like I seen what you guys going through. We've had a
Yeah.
lot of friends that all relate to this. It's crazy.
Yes.
We all have friends that like had. I worked at a print shop, and every person I worked with, even my boss, we all had the same story. It's insane. Like,
Joe,
it's
It's
wild.
almost like we've all been bonded by horror.
Ooh, hashtag that.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
we definitely
So, anyways, so I think that's why this. And I was a dad really young. So, like when this movie came out, I had a daughter that was 5 years old, not too off Chelsea's age. She was younger than. I know that she was around 10. The actress was around 10, but she was playing a younger girl than that. But, so I think that's where I tie it all into it. So, anyways, so that was big there. And then where the fuck are we gonna go from there?
when Ben
wood chopping scene.
Oh, yes, we have to. We
talk
can't drag
about.
out too long. We have to talk about how good how intense
We have to talk about that.
and insane that scene is.
Go take the helm because I've been fucking chirping it up. So.
My Mandela effect, maybe because like guy crushing Ryan Reynolds too. I always thought he had his shirt off when he did that scene for some reason. I don't know why. And he had a shirt on. I'm like, what?
Well, that shirt is
What the
wicked
hell?
skin
No
tight
joke.
on him too.
Hold on. No joke. I agree. And I thought for sure.
Every time I watch that.
Both, because there's two wood chopping scenes, and I feel like I forgot that there were two because there's one where he chops a bunch of wood and then the fucking son has to stack it all up. No, the son just has to unload it or whatever early on. That's where you see the kiss jean jacket.
Pussy.
Then the second one is where it gets
second
really
where
intense. Where he's making
grabs
him hold
him. He's like, "Are we having fun yet?" And he's like,
And he fucking slaps him in the face.
Yeah, he's like, "Are we having fun yet?" And he goes, "Aren't we friends?" Something like that. And that was just.
He's like, "Aren't we friends? We're having fun,
Yep.
right?" And he fucking slaps him wicked hard.
Dude, and when he's stuck outside, is that the same scene where he's oh no, that wasn't. So earlier on the first one was the first wood chopping scene is where I think you're right. I thought all I know is
he did one with him when he did that, and then I thought the same thing.
The first one's where he had to put away, and that's where the discipline. The kid had to stay outside really late, and while they're all eating dinner, the kids.
And you see the obsession with chopping all that wood because
because he's
wall
cold.
Of it.
Right,
he's cold. Right, he's cold.
But that's where the scene, the great line of "Is this discipline or is this torture?" And he put, "I thought this was meatloaf."
I'm sorry, I thought this was meatloaf.
As terrible as that
dinner
is,
table scene. It was so
that was great.
toxic. Oh my god! But
and then,
that's why. But like the dark humor to it, you know.
We fast forward a little bit, and then the second wood chopping scene comes up, and when starts going really crazy, it's terrifying. I've legit dealt with similar stuff with my own dad grabbing my face, blah blah blah. Maybe I'm biased, I don't know, but it felt really powerful. That's a fucking incredibly powerful scene. Then here's where we come the fucking almost ultimate, like, this is where some people would be swayed towards the movie or like driven away from this movie. Man, they broke almost a cardinal rule of mine. You don't fuck with the dog. You don't fuck with the dog.
That was a really sad scene.
Kill the little kid all you want. That's but don't fucking.
I'm the same way.
You're not the only one who said that.
Put an axe in fucking Bucktooth's head. Who cares?
Kill the priest. Put a fucking axe. Yeah,
Henry.
Put it,
or Harry. I don't know the fucking dog's name is. Henry.
Harry.
You fucking. But what a fucking scene. He goes out to the. And what's up? Fucking red balloon. Is Pennywise also a member of this household?
I was thinking the same thing. What's with the red balloon? That was a little weird.
In the boathouse, that was odd. But
dude, they kept referencing the fucking red balloon. I don't get it.
Yeah, well, it's because that was the way. No, it's because I get it now because it was the way to draw. It was the way to draw George to the fucking boathouse.
Yes.
So that's why it was. Which
he thought she was in the boathouse again.
Yes, and he goes out there, and fucking he thinks Chelsea's out there, and then all of a sudden he turns around and he thinks he sees a fucking demon. It's the dog, and he choppies the dog.
Yeah. So if you were somebody who don't like seeing animals hurt. Fake deaths.
Yeah. You don't see him actually hit the dog with anything, but you see him chop,
you see the blood.
Then all of a sudden you just see dead dog, and that sucks. It's as a dog father and lover, I'm a
dude.
The dog survived in the OG. The dog died in the remake. That's how hardcore we are. 2005.
It was so something like that too. If you because I did it the other day. If you I had to rewind that.
Killed your dog?
No, yeah, I killed my dog. No, I paused that the second they had that figure jump out at Ryan Reynolds. That shit was scary looking. Whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
A lot of
those jump scenes are really well
Whatever
done.
they had.
Yeah.
Some of them were pretty good.
Yeah, a lot of which. Oh fuck! Did we get into this yet? No,
Probably not.
no, we didn't. Hold on, I skipped over it, dude. The fucking scariest goddamn scene in this fucking movie, and it 100% still fucking gets me every time. It was earlier on, and we totally skipped over it. God fucking damn it! God fucking damn it!
We
Every
went
time
to
I've
a
seen this movie,
sentimental rants a little
The
while
kids,
ago.
the kids who
every-
went to piss.
you motherfucker.
Yeah.
When Buckteeth goes to
Yep.
fucking piss,
That's yeah.
that
and the
fucking
Indian guy
scene,
is sitting there.
dude, and is like he's bleeding out of his mouth. Fuck you, man! Like
Yep.
that shit
No
is fucking
That's a
terrifying.
freaky scene.
And
And
the way
the
they
thing, the
set
kid
up,
didn't even see him. He saw the blood come out of the faucet, which I never seen that till now. I didn't recognize that last time.
dude, that whole setup is amazing because it's all like distant panning. Like
Mhm.
it reminds me almost of The Conjuring now, like the way they would set up long shots, and you think something was gonna happen, and oh, nothing happens.
They did
And
that
then,
whole shit with
nothing
the
happens.
hide and
then,
seek,
oh,
like
shit,
the
there
clap,
it
the hide
goes.
and clap.
Yeah.
Great
They-
scene.
That's what I
how you
compared it
do
to,
a
the
jump
hide and
scare.
clap.
That's a good jump scare. There's a difference
Yep.
between shit jump scares where you just crank up the
Nightmare on Elm
volume
Street
and the
remake.
sound mix.
The Jody
Yeah.
shit early on was a bad jump
Yeah.
scare early on.
Yeah, I
What
agree.
was
I
that?
agree. Nightmare on Elm Street has a lot of bad. The remake has a lot of bad jump scares.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
right.
it does.
He's right.
That's
But
what I compared it to. That's
this-
all the movie is jump scares.
It is. Yeah, it
It
is.
is.
But yeah, I wanted to go back to that because that fucking scene. That
I'm
kid
glad,
is a
I'm glad you
great
said that. Yeah,
great
because I
actor in
wrote
that.
that
And that
down
scene
too.
is
That
terrifying. Like it even
Bucktooth
gets a
nails
weird
it.
close-up shot. It even gets a weird close-up shot of like the fucking faucet and like dripping, and you see him kind of like looking into it. So it gives you that wide-angle pan shot where you think something's going to jump out behind him, and it doesn't. And then when
Yeah.
the editing, the way they did it, the way they edited it, they pan to like him looking at it from the front, and then all of a sudden the thing is standing like over his shoulder, and that
Yeah.
dude,
And you know he doesn't see it. The audience sees it. It's pretty freaky.
God damn, man, what a fucking scene! That was perfect. Yeah. So then let's fast forward again. Go ahead.
You want to
Ben.
fast forward right to Oh shit! I just had it in my head. Let's fast forward right to
George puts in a bunch of screws in the window to a callback to like how they're gonna set up the priest, and then
Well,
let's
yeah, I was
talk
gonna
about
say,
the priest.
let's get to the
Let's talk
priest
about the
because-
priest scene.
Because
Go ahead.
so with what Scrooge was saying, it was like, holy crap, because I forgot it was near the end. I was like, when the hell is the priest coming in?
Hmm?
So the priest finally comes in.
Takes a long time.
It's mainly because of
It's
like
over an hour in. I timed it.
It's Kathy's, and this really moves the plot along
The
pretty
plot
good.
one. Yeah, you're right.
This is where Kathy's starting to, because a lot of the stuff, yeah, even though the kids are affected and Kathy's a little bit affected, it's mostly through George.
Yep.
It's mostly through George's eyes. And I will get
Or
to
the
that.
kids.
My closing
Or the
arguments, I'll
kids.
get to that.
Yep. Or the
Huh?
kids.
And
Or
the kids see it
the
too, but
kids.
but George really sees that like the kids are affected. They're affected by it, you know, and that's why I want to get to that. So Kathy's starting to see it. It's almost like this interesting play off like abusive, authoritative parent. Kids don't really see it. They start, but they're affected a certain way, and the mother's finally seeing it, kind of thing. Like you want to go through like a little metaphor, I guess, in some.
Well,
aspect.
that goes back to what I was just saying about the kids. So kids with imagination. Some people think it's imagination, but you know, if you get into like conspiracy theory stuff, the third eye thing, like or what is it? Fluoride in the water can calcify your
We're
third
not
eye.
going
No,
We're not gonna get into it, but-
no,
No, but I'm just saying that kids have an imagination because
Kids have fluoride.
Well, their brains are
Kids drink
more
too much
imaginative.
water.
I'm not gonna get into it all right now, guys. I've already brought up MK Ultra and I'm fluoride in the water, so we're not gonna get into that at all. But I'm not saying I believe in any of this. I'm just simply saying that people have theories about things. I'm an open book. I'll take on all theories and make.
Kill
What is the
switch.
Mythbuster? What's the Mythbusters famous line? I reject your reality and supplement it with my own.
And I supplemented
It's
it
the
with
same.
my own.
Yeah, they call that cosmic horror too.
Yeah, I'm welcome to all things. Take a bunch of mushrooms or psilocybin, and I guarantee you.
You and I can go to Narnia and talk about that any day.
So
We are gonna that almost happened tonight, but we're not gonna
so
do that.
we move forward to like she needs, you know, she wants to talk to the priest, see what's going on, and then he finally goes and like check things out, bless the house because of like
he goes and checks it out. Yeah, he goes and checks it out, and then all of a sudden, like he walks in, and then immediately
the fly scene happens.
The fly scene happens,
But not
and
the
it's a little
same
bit
way the
different.
original.
No, he kind of gets stuck at it just starts like building tension and some weird shit kind of happens, and you can see him you can see that he's feeling the fucking like the presence there, And then all of a sudden, like he hears a voice coming through like the vent, and then like a swarm of flies come flying out at him.
Mm.
And it's some of the worst CGI. That scene doesn't
It
hold
is
up as far as
unfortunate
CGI
because
wise.
if they really slowed it down, it would work. I don't mind he
Mhm.
gets flung through the air. I like the fact he spit a bunch out of his mouth. That was kind of gross.
Yeah,
Like he spit a
that
bunch of
what
flies. That was pretty good.
the initial like swarm was not great, but everything after that was okay. Like when he got
Yeah,
back up,
because
like you
they
said, that
did
was
slow
that
it
was good.
down. There was on his
Yep.
face, almost like the original. Like I think.
Yep. I
Scrooge,
agree.
you want to go on a little rant on that yet?
There's not much for me to say about it. It's just like I said before. I like the fact that they did it a little bit earlier on. I don't dislike the pre stuff as much as Ed does up here. That stuff doesn't bother me at all. What I cared about was the fact that, like you said, the CGI was really fucking bad.
Yeah.
I felt like that scene.
Was good.
I felt like that scene was only in it just so we could be like, guys, we have to have enough comparisons to the original one so we can call it a remake. Come on.
Yeah, there's a lot
That's
of
what
homage.
I didn't like. And then
No,
they
but
cast
you
a guy
know,
that looks
see-
just like the dude from Law and Order. Again, I say Law and Order.
I mean, priests and lawyers. I mean,
I don't. Yeah, I mean, pretty much the same. Both better off at the bottom of a sea.
sorry.
But the deal with it is like I don't mind it because I'm okay with the supernatural element of it. Like you're dealing with like a demonic entity, right? There's something controlling the house, or there's a
And
presence in
titty.
the house, or whatever.
Ah,
And titties, right?
Can't spell entity
But-
without titty.
I prefer the way they did the priest thing with this because it was more of like a
Yeah.
it was more of like a character. But when she finally goes to see the priest after he leaves, Father, why'd you leave my house? Why didn't you help us? And he
mhm.
goes, I once dealt with a presence like this with the DeFeos. And she goes, oh no, that's how she gets him to go there, right?
That's how
She
yeah,
says,
and
I
then
live in a house.
yes,
Yeah.
and then she goes to the library right afterwards. And
Yeah,
that's
and
how
then she goes,
she
and that-
delves in.
That's a
that
good
scene was
plot
intense.
device because it
Yeah,
gets
I agree.
moving to the history and it gets moving
Yep.
to it makes sense than what the original did, and then the kids kind of know because the babysitter's lore and what the babysitter knows.
Yep.
So
That's
they
what
interconnected
you guys-
it very well.
What do you guys think of the catch and kill 'em thing? They toyed
I
with it
love
early
the
on
catch
with the
and kill 'em.
magnets,
Love the catch
on
and
the
kill 'em.
fridge.
Yep.
I like
God.
it too. I
Love the
like it
catch and
too.
kill.
adored it. Catch him, kill him.
Okay.
Catch
The
him,
fucking
kill him,
magnets
boys.
were one of my favorite scenes.
Since we're jumping right into that, they did a great job because they used Native American lore, but they didn't
Mhm.
like go with the typical trope bullshit. They went with this Reverend Ketchum guy who tortured them in that basement, and then that's where we get to the Red Room. And I thought that was so well done of like the evil of this person, what he did to
Yeah.
people
Mm.
on that land and what he did and stuff
Oh,
like that. So
God.
you know what?
that was
Can we
Let's-
so
please
well
just,
done.
can we please just jump
Let's
to
go.
that part?
Let's
Can
do
we
it.
Let's
please
Let's
just
go.
jump to it?
That's my whole point. We're
Let's
moving.
do
We're
it.
moving, dude.
Thank you.
We're moving. We've gone through enough of the movie. We know that George goes crazy. We know that it blah 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 blah. The fucking basement in this movie, and the reveal of like the fucking Indian
It's-
murder
I
layer
Still
is
love it each time.
is horrifying. It's very well done. Very well done.
They-
Which it kind of almost going through like as George is walking down the hallway and seeing the individual like jail cells type rooms or whatever.
And those are good jump scares again because things just pop out at you and you
Dude,
didn't expect it.
they did that
The gore was crazy.
with comparison with Kathy looking at all of the stills in the library
Yep.
too. So every
Yep.
time she would see it, bam, Ryan Reynolds would see
So
it.
and
in
that moves the
person.
plot along because then
Yes.
you got the history
Yes.
of the place.
And
You see him
for
going
some reason,
crazy.
it reminds me of 13 Ghosts, a movie that I would love to read.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
can we
yeah.
please
We
talk
will.
about
Oh,
13
we will.
Ghosts?
No, we will.
Hey.
13 Ghosts are great. We will.
Hey,
We
I
will.
think it's it's up to discussion, but let's between the three of us and anybody that's actually watching live right now,
We have a
Maybe
couple
we'll
of
do that next
requests
week.
actually in the chat, but we can
All
get
right.
to those after. But
We get
we'll
those-
go through the
let's move
request.
forward.
We'll go through the request,
the
and we're
end,
gonna
yeah.
pin 13 Ghosts because 13 Ghosts needs that can be.
my
We haven't done a
God.
modern movie yet, and that's not even modern. But I would love to touch.
That-
on
That's still like
13
part of our. That's still part of our childhood.
Dude, I fucking
we're like
love
Yeah.
13 Ghosts.
late teens,
So-
early 20s. It works.
So mark that down because I really would like to put that in the mix because that's
Mark.
a fucking.
And the
That
amount
movie
of,
is overlooked.
it's actually cultural now because the amount of memes I see about 13 Ghosts lately is fucking insane.
We
It's a
have
new cult
to make sure.
classic.
Yeah, and we have to make sure that we see. I don't know if there's an unrated or whatever, but we have to make sure we see like the legit. I don't want to get into it. We're
There's no
off
unrated.
track.
No, we can.
Pin it, because
yeah.
13
Pin.
Ghosts is fucking.
Joe, can you write that
One of
down
the best
actually,
films
if
I've
you haven't
played.
already?
Pinned. Already did it. Already
Oh
did it.
my God, God bless you.
Great fucking movie. Great movie. So, anyways, Kind of reminds me of 13 Ghosts. So yeah, so then you get to the end scene where he gets all the way down to the end, and you see Ketchum finally. And he turns around and he slits his throat, and then fucking
just,
George is bathing in the blood, and
what a great possession scene of
another
evil.
callback. Another callback to an Acacia Strain song. What's the song from? Oh my God, Ben. Cauterized, where the fucking at the end they're in the fucking barn, and at the end it's just raining blood on them, and fucking Vincent looks up at the screen.
Yeah, it's
Another
a great
shout
video.
out to the Acacia Stream. So, anyways, go check out the Acacia.
Shout out to Vinny Benny again. I love you, buddy.
Again.
Yeah.
From
One of my
Chickapee,
favorites.
Mass.
Love you, buddy.
Chickapee.
Chickapee. All right. So that leads up into the end, which is when Kathy gets home, she's checking on everybody. Nobody's around. It's the rain season. Cliche. Let's film everything in the rain in the 2000s.
They're stealing everything from Friday 13th.
Well, yeah. Well, that and it's from what I understand about movie making, it's easier to film things in the dark and in the rain because you can hide things. So like you can hide CG a little bit better because you can hide the flaws or sets or whatever.
Let me say real quick, this scene when he's chasing after the family is 10 times better than what the original did with like when George lost it and it was like done like that. This was 10 times.
There was almost nothing. Almost nothing happened at the end of the original movie. That's what's even crazier. This shows you like a pinnacle and a point, and you're wondering if he's actually going to kill him. And then when I think Billy tries to fight back, right? Yep. Doesn't he hit George?
Oh, yeah, leave my mom alone, you bastard!
Yeah, and then he falls into the
hits
fucking
him in the face with the pipe on the roof.
Yeah, he falls into the mud and he's laying there.
You get him.
And it fucking Reynolds' face is all covered with mud or whatever. Great visual.
And then they finally get off. They finally get off.
And they fucking, I think they drag him to the boat, right?
They do.
And then the
you get the fucking great scene when they're in the speedboat, and then George wakes up and he's like, fucking kill me. Please just kill me, because if you don't kill me, I'm going to fucking kill you.
Actually, that was outside the speedboat.
Yeah.
That was right after. But you're right. That was a great scene.
Oh, my God, dude. That's the shit that got me.
He wakes up, he pops up out of the mud, all fucking muddy and sexy, and I'm sorry, all rainy. And there's a guy.
My dick's all hard.
He's about to attack Billy, and she puts the fucking shotgun to the back of his head. Oh, real quick, one thing I didn't like. So me and Joe grew up shooting guns. That's actually how we met. We used to we were on a rifle team when we were kids. Joe knows how to wield the 12 gauge as well as I do.
I shoot once a year 12 gauge. So
when he's chasing them through the house and just loosely firing off with one hand and barely getting a recoil, I was telling Kristen the other night, I'm like, the worst scene in this movie, yet the best scene, one of the better scenes in this movie is when he's chasing them through the house. Every time he fires the gun, it's awful. There's zero recoil in that gun. Like I don't care how fucking strong you are. To not shoulder a 12 gauge shotgun and just hold it and not have a single an ounce of recoil.
He shoots off the fucking lock of the door. I'm sorry, but then that also goes for me into the best part of the movie is when we already referenced it before. When he's walking up the stairs and he fucking bam, just smashes the portrait.
Yeah, it's a mixed feeling stuff because they do well the gun stuff, but at the same time, like it wouldn't work as well if he was just doing the axe because the axe comes in later on,
right?
Where it's like it and then like Kathy's about to shoot him and she doesn't because she doesn't want to kill him. She knows
she loves him. With him. She knows that there's something wrong and she loves him.
Right, both right. She loves him, but she knows this is not him. He's possessed and
by that point she figured it out.
Yeah, she figured it out, which again that was pivotal with her plot point with all the stuff she started seeing. She got to it. She figured it all out. But all that was really, it was just so well done. I didn't know if I'll still enjoy it watching it after all these years. I'm like, nah, this is really for a short movie and the way it was so breakneck pace.
Again, I touched on it earlier.
It just worked.
If you watch it now with fresh eyes, never seeing it before, you might not have the same view as we do, because now a lot of the things that they did in this movie that were not groundbreaking, but what keeps it holding up for us, have been done a million times. So if you've seen a million movies since 2005 and now, a lot of movies have stolen a lot of things from this movie or this era of movies, right? Now,
yeah, I can see that.
And it's the same idea as how maybe the people who saw the original when it came out and grew up with that before this one hold that one in higher regard to this one because they grew up with it. So they look at that and go, the remake fucked up the story. Okay, I respect your opinion because you're looking at
remarks.
Yep. So here's what we're gonna do. You two both. Joe's got a rant. Ben's got some rants. I'm gonna just let the floor be held by these two fine young gentlemen and
So I'll
keep
get
on
this
sipping
out.
here.
I'll get this
Yeah,
out,
just let
and
him
then
do
just
it
get the.
because
So my
I'm
clo-
gonna
so
simply say my simple final word is I prefer the remake. I'm not gonna get into my final scores
we
or anything right
have
now,
to
but
have a
I
definitive.
pre-
You have to prefer one or the other
yeah.
tonight. You have
oh
to.
yeah,
I'm gonna throw this out
You
there
not
have
now.
to.
score. It's prefer. How's that?
Yes.
I
Yep.
don't need to rant.
Yep.
Yeah, no scores.
I totally agree with you.
I am going to advise people to watch the remake.
Yeah.
Personally, I think as a whole, it's a better story. I feel like the suspense overall was well done, and if not for anything else, Ryan Reynolds worked really hard on those abs, so they deserve some credit. Although James Brolin with his thermal on was no slouch, so
no,
good for him.
that's
And those tidy whities, by the way.
Boys,
there it is.
lots of BVDs in that movie.
BD.
Gentlemen,
True. All right.
the floor is yours. I
Joe,
award this.
All right.
specifically, the floor is yours. Say whatever the
Let
hell you
me.
want.
So, oh my god. So okay, upon research now, when I look upon things with the original versus the remake, and then you think about we talk about based on true story and all this shit. I personally think the remake is closer to the actual story than the original. Take all the random
Okay.
shit they did with that movie, right? Look at what we just said. It's all through George's eyes, and you see like the his growing in pain. Let's take all the supernatural elements out of it. It's pretty much a a, a, a new father or a new family with this guy who's just like loses his patience and he's got a very bad like dark side pretty much essentially, and it's a family drama. It's dysfunction. It's a dysfunction family. Maybe more by him. Maybe by like his like the way he disciplines, the way he loses his temper and stuff like that. He's not really a good person. You think he is. So, and I base this too based on the and I don't like talk ill. The real guy's dead now. He died 2006 of a heart attack, and Kathy Lutz passed away from cancer 2004. Again, did my research. So
I'm glad one of us did because normally that's me, but I'm glad somebody did on this one.
I only looked up the process of the movie being made. That's it. That's the only thing I did.
Every time they tried to make a sequel to Amityville Horror, they had to get George Lutz's approval. That dude was like Hollywood with a hard on for anybody trying to make a movie based on his story. He wanted to control the narrative. You might as well call it George Lutz media station. So that happened throughout all sequels. I think probably up to part 4 until the remake came out, and they just did it. And he was still alive at the time. He was not happy with it because they did not portray him properly. It made him look like a really bad. Yeah, exactly. Made him look like a really bad person. And me, I says, "Well, that's kind of shady. Maybe you were."
All right, now
so
how do you?
It sounds like. Oh, go ahead. What?
Now, how did you compare that? Because I know that you did it before. How did you compare that to the Warren family?
The remake or
with The Conjuring? Because I know
The Conjuring was different.
No, because you mentioned the Conjuring family, and you actually compared the two. So I want to know.
I said
one thing I'll say really quick is I'm a huge fan of The Conjuring in general, and being from Rhode Island, I know a lot about that story. And I actually the original farmhouse in I believe it's Burrville, Rhode Island.
Burrville.
It's been a little while.
Yeah,
Burrville.
Rhode Island boys.
The original owner of the farm was Zeta Sherman. Last name.
Oh yeah, I forgot you get the same last name.
All right.
We got the same last name,
and
boys.
I actually have met Andrea Perron, the oldest or one of the daughters from the original The Conjuring, like the story, like the movie, She's written a couple books. We've met her. We have signed books by her, and I have an artist rendering of the original farmhouse from when they lived there, signed by Andrea Perron, hanging on my living room wall that looks over my family and my living room. And it's when I talk about how I don't believe in like religion and stuff, I do believe in spirits and things. And since I've had that hanging in my house, things in my house have felt different. And I won't ever take it down. That's all I'm going to say. But we'll talk about.
I don't want to.
If we ever talk about The Conjuring,
yeah.
If we ever do The Conjuring,
we will
talk about when I met.
Right. But I just wanted to make the comparison. I just wanted to ask because I know you mentioned the Warren family, in comparison to the Lutz. So I just want to ask if there was if in your head there was any correlation between their feedback on The Conjuring versus Lutz's feedback on the original Amityville Horror.
Oh no. Like here's the thing, because like when I read all the things about like speculation and supposedly like George was sitting down with like the guy Jay Anderson who wrote the book and conjuring all these ideas up, and because the first movie is kind of based on the book. Even from what I know, even the book gets even wackier than the movie. Like this shit, and you just like I read about it. I was like, what the hell? I gotta find the paperback because I really want to own it actually. But like, because it's fascinating. But which that guy died in a car wreck before the manuscript got printed, so that's a little weird. But
that is weird.
I don't
before
know
the actual book released.
Before it actually got released, supposedly, that's a few of the documentaries said that. So, but with oh no, I'm losing my train of thought. What I was going with on that.
Keep it going, Joe. Keep it going.
No, but I mean, I'm just saying, it's like when you look at verses, like there's some things in there that
Jay Anson, by the way, Janson.
Anson, I added
Anson.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
He died March 12th, 1980, before the book released.
And I researched that. I think like 5 years ago, so I still remember that because
the movie came out. Yep, and then the tales, the manuscripts all got released.
So that's a little weird. That's why I think it's a little weird. But But still, I truly believe there's some form of a scam there. I'm sorry, like I believe there's some form of paranormal weirdness. There was some form of scam. If you're going to try to control every freaking sequel, I mean, you try to control the prequel, which is part 2, which is supposed to tell more of the fail story. It doesn't have anything to do with you. You're a douchebag. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. So, and then I think 2005 remake proves you're a scumbag.
Yeah, because
not only that, like when you get into watch My Amityville Horror. It's a documentary that follows the story of the oldest son, Danny. You want to talk about mental health?
I think that's on HBO or one of those things, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think it's on one of those.
It's on somewhere.
Really sad. It's fascinating, but it's really sad, and you really see, whether you believe his story or not, you really see what that man has done to his family, to some aspects of his like control freakism, and so
I just looked it up. What Joe said is right, because George Lutz died in 2006, immediately months after the remake came out. Months. That was it.
Oh, and then before I forget, I said I got a little tidbit to throw to you guys, everybody watching. So and not only that, there's like 15, 16 freaking movies, by the way. This freaking franchise will never die. There's 16 Amityville horror movies, spin-offs. It would never. There's no one coming. And documentaries, it would never go away. And I feel bad for the people of the town because fans are nuts. But the killer, Ronnie Defoe, who killed his family in 1974 or 73, he passed away last month. He just passed away last month in prison at 69. He died.
I was just gonna ask you. Like,
I found out today.
That was it. Oh shit. Oh,
he just died last month. Check that shit out.
Wow. Holy shit.
Perfect time.
Freaked out. That's a little weird.
Perfect time.
And for the record, guys, for the people who are watching this live, we have been planning this episode for probably about 2 weeks. Better half of 2 weeks.
No, about 3
longer
weeks.
than that.
March 15th.
Joe brought up. Wow. Yeah, it was right around when we first started talking about it. Because this episode was, so everybody knows, this episode was originally supposed to air last Friday. We were supposed to do this last Friday rather than not air, but we're supposed to go live. Some stuff happened. We had to push it back a week. So like, cool. We're here now. Everybody's good. Good to hear. And we're here now. We're getting it done now, and we're gonna keep on trucking with these. Again, we have talked about this. I mean, shit. So it's been 2 weeks since we actually announced that we were gonna do this show.
Yes.
Originally, but it was like 2 weeks before that I think you brought up the idea of doing this, or Red Runner. So, I mean, it was pretty fucking close to when it happened, dude.
So
I mean, we might even be able to, like, because we did a couple before we started doing the show. We did a couple like hey, what do you guys want to do with this? And I mean, this has been in the works for a while now. Me and Joe have been talking about doing doing this actual show for over a year now.
For a
and
year.
it just for a year since we actually sat down to do this. That's
we
wild.
talk shit about religion and whatnot, but we just talk and then we talk about karma and energies. But that's just weird how that just happened. That's so crazy.
No, I believe in things like that. Again, I believe in the fate thing, and I believe in
And his name is
so
Ronnie Lutz.
Ronnie DeFeo.
Oh, DeFeo.
DeFeo, yeah,
Yeah,
the
DeFeo.
original murders.
The original murders. Okay.
That actually
Ronald
happened. Yeah.
DeFeo.
Yep.
Holy shit. Okay. All right, man. Well, he is not a
So,
good
and my last remarks, real quick, before
R.I.P.
you go,
Ronnie?
Scrooge. I prefer the remake over the original because of a lot of the reasons I just said.
So me and you agree then on
Yeah.
the remake version. Okay.
Yep.
But here's something that's interesting though. You did mention earlier that rewatching it for the show purpose, this tonight's show purpose, made you look at it in a little bit of a different light and gave you a little bit more respect for it than what you thought you were going to have.
The original, because all the research I did, I was just like, I remember texting my buddy Matt, who I wrote Bloodborne with. I was like, "This fucking movie is such bullshit."
Shout out to Matt, dude.
Hard decor.
Shout out to Hard Decor.
We gotta get him to do one of these, man.
Yeah,
we gotta get him on.
We'll try to get him. And I was like, this movie is such bullshit. I can't wait to write this article and shit over. And then I watched it again last night. I'm like, wow, I'm not that mad at it anymore. What the hell?
Well, I mean, when you look at things,
weird.
When you look at things through a different lens or a different perspective, right? Like, so when you look at things sometimes through more of an analytical eye or perspective, it can sway your opinion on things a little bit more. Like if you watch this again next week, not for the purposes of comparing
it could change
to something, you could hate it again. Like it's almost like work doing this. Like the 2 nights I had to put 2 nights away to like watch these movies this week, which we all did. But like I have to like plan this between like work, gym,
that's me too.
Cooking dinner, food shopping, and then like, oh, I gotta sit down and watch this movie.
It's hard.
That was
me.
It's
worth it, man.
So like
I watch a movie a night anyways. I don't watch TV. I don't have cable or anything. All I do is watch movies.
Yeah. I go and Shudder, and I usually try to watch at least one movie. So I did this between work. I do the stream. I do other things in between. I go same thing like you just said, food shopping, all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
I made sure to go out of my fucking way, dude. I watched this movie at 12:30 at night because I'm so dedicated to this goddamn idea that we have, and I was so tired.
Well, it's great.
I was exhausted.
It's a lot of fun,
but it's mainly because
it's worth it.
Yeah,
it's worth it.
It's fun. I love you guys, and I love everybody that watches, and I love everybody that comments, and I just want everybody to know I do this for you guys.
It seems like we've had some pretty good interaction tonight. So I do want to, again, one more quick cliche thing before Ben gives his
say that, and I'm gonna piss. But
which one?
Get more.
He's gonna pee one more time. So one more last shout out, really quick, to anybody that stuck with us. Oh, hey, this is the first time you've seen me. I mean, these aren't prescription, by the way, everybody. These are just blue light glasses because I can't stare at screens for too long. And this is an actual working office. I sit in here for 8 or more hours a day. And shout out to the hyena behind me. He's always over my shoulder. Happy birthday, Waitress Rob, or Sailor Rob, if you know him. It's his birthday today. The Lord and Savior himself from Blood for Blood and Ramallah.
Oh, I gotta charge my thing.
All the other things. So shout out to that's real blood on that. You can't see it from here, but that's painted in with real blood. Like there's a teardrop, and it's actually Waitress Rob's blood. So shout out to happy birthday, Waitress Rob.
While we're talking about birthdays, there's also Nick Schofer. Happy birthday, dude! It's just a friend of mine. I hope you have a great birthday. Cheers dude. And so it's not only White Trash Rob, it's Nick's, and then it's also Ronnie DeFeo's death today. So fucking good to cheer it all.
Peace. So anybody that hung out with us tonight or watches this in the future, we truly, truly do appreciate any support we can get. And again, as mentioned earlier in the show, Ben, you're breathing really heavy into the microphone.
That's not me.
Joe?
No, that's not
me.
Oh,
Joe's.
Oh, is it me? Oh, sorry. This microphone's weird, so I had to switch. I had to charge my iPad.
You're good. We can actually let it hang. I think I can hear you.
Can you hear me okay?
Perfect.
Okay.
I can hear you perfect.
We got here Benny's closing remark.
When Ben comes back after shaking it, then we're gonna wrap this one up. We're pushing almost 3 hours, I think.
Which by the way, sorry Joe.
Way longer than we thought.
We definitely didn't attend that, but so what do we want to do?
I think we can all agree that it was worth it. I mean, about an hour and a half each movie. This is a fucking fun night, man. We're not gonna do these every time.
No,
but man, no. But when we do this maybe once a month, once every other month, or something like a Friday night event, we're gonna have, you know, a couple drinks, a couple hang. You know, we're gonna like just let the fucking let
That's
it fly.
something that's definitely
I'm
worth writing down.
I'm no
go.
stranger to 3-hour long shows. Go check out 3
That's
Dudes and
true.
Cold Brews
Shout out 3 Dudes Cold Brews podcast. While we're going ahead, before we go into, so we're gonna go ahead and go into final discussions, everybody. Before we do that, again, thank you for everybody that came in and talked. So we're gonna go ahead and say,
thank you.
somebody just said, so when do we get Last Man on Earth remake comparisons? An example: Last Man on Earth, Omega Man, and I Am Legend.
You got 5 hours?
Sure.
I'm down.
Also, I literally thought for some reason when I was little that Omega Man had something to do with Mega Man. So,
And I also know the book I Am Legend, so
I started reading it when I was a
author in the
kid.
house, by the way, everybody.
Yeah, we have a legit author in the house, very published author.
Not
I almost
me.
said,
I'm just a look.
Dude, it ain't me, by the way. I'm talking.
This is moneymaker. That's it.
Yeah.
Not
So somebody,
up here.
and then somebody else also said, I watched Children at Play the other day, and it was okay in my opinion. Just shock to be shock. It's an old Kaufman produced, which by the way, shout out to Kaufman.
I
Yeah,
just watched I just watched one
Avenger.
of the Kaufman movies.
Yeah.
Not Lloyd though.
I watched. I watched Toxic
Mother's
Avenger.
Day.
Ooh,
Mother's Day. It's fucked up.
oh, that's that one's
Fucked up. It was on. It was on.
Yeah, Truman. Any Truman fucking movie.
Joe Bob Briggs. It was on Joe Bob Briggs.
It's an old Kaufman movie produced film where the taboo with it was child murder. Which, by the way, you know that's pretty much what Amityville horror is. Also, it's if you really think about it, it's child murder.
Hey,
but
kill
anyway,
the kid.
Yeah.
Don't kill the dog.
Anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and go into final thoughts. Who wants to go first? I can go first. I don't really care.
I already
pretty much did.
Yeah, I pretty much already did. I tried to leave you guys the floor. Just
so
still in time.
do you want me to go
Hey,
first?
look, I'm going to throw this out there. The original actually won my seal of approval as far as a movie. I get why it's a classic. I get why everybody loves it. It definitely has its flaws and its faults. I'm holding a cap here. Its flaws and its faults. I still 100% back and prefer the remake. That's my opinion. I'm going to stick to it. I get it if you hate me, but I have my reasons on why. And listen to the whole podcast back, and you'll get why. I'm gonna make another drink. Go ahead, Joe.
Go ahead, Scrooge.
All right. So I'm gonna let Joe go last.
I already did. That whole rant with the DeFeo. I said remake over original because of how close it is to the supposed factualness of the story.
So
and everything else we love about it.
So it's up to me, huh? So we got these two goons up above my head. When you guys finally watch it on YouTube or anything like that, it's you two goons both remake. I am so actually split, torn in the middle. I don't know which one to pick. I have no fucking idea. I have no fucking idea which one to pick. It gun to my head. I have to pick one. I don't know which one to pick. So let me just say, I really like some of the aspects with the OG George, just him as a whole family man. He's not only a family man, he's a businessman. He's a holy man. Every little part about him, I fucking adore. But then we get Ryan Reynolds, who in Ryan Reynolds' case, and we all know who he is. He's fucking Deadpool. I really like Blade Trinity. Fuck you, Ed, for whatever you gotta say. Dracula is the way to go. Wesley Snipes is the way to go. You're an asshole. Anyway, it's just
I love Blade and Blade 2 and Wesley Snipes. I don't love Blade 3.
I would
keep going.
Let me just ask you, Ed, can you blush?
Motherfucker.
Anyway, so it's just really hard for me to.
I'm turning red right now.
True. It's really hard for me to really be able to want to pick the two. I have complaints about both. Whereas
here's the deal. Your hourglass is coming up. I'm gonna start unbuttoning. Bam.
All right, so I'm gonna keep going.
No, let
keep going.
We got a show to do. God damn it. So
we're having
this is a show.
If
we just have people listening on Spotify, they're gonna be so confused. Anyway,
I hope they are.
So you have a lot of discussion about pretty much if you just take the original, it's about the priest and George in the original. It's not about anybody else. And then whereas in the remake, it's about the entire family and no one else. Gun to my head, and if I have to pick one, original.
Okay.
I'm late as fuck.
I have to go to with the original. I feel like every step that they took, every single step that they had to take with the original, it just worked. Whereas the remake, it just all I could feel was just comparisons with Platinum Dunes to Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake and fucking Friday the 13th remake and every other goddamn remake. I've seen every single fucking shot before.
Amityville was the first one, by the way.
No, Texas Chainsaw Massacre was the first one.
Oh shit!
No.
You're right. You got me. No, he's right.
Yes, it was.
He's right.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre was the first one, and it's
right.
way better than this one.
Look,
well, I don't know if it was way
I'm
better.
good with
It's way better.
Okay, well, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
That being said,
both are pretty good. I actually enjoy both the remakes.
The original, by the way, guys, if we ever do a
hold
fucking
on, whoa, we're forgetting. We're talking about like the major ones. We're forgetting Hills Have Eyes. That was in that time frame.
Is it?
Remake is better.
The remake is way better.
Remake is way better.
Save those
the Crazies.
No.
The Crazies.
The Crazies.
That's another one. Those were
no.
Was that 2010?
And the remake is better.
Last
House on the Left.
Save it for later.
Last House on the Left.
Nobody pay attention to this. We're going to talk about this.
Oh, fuck
everything
you
you're
guys.
saying.
No.
We have a lot.
It's distorted facts.
Are we gonna wait? Are we gonna do an entire fucking remakes episode?
Oh, somebody just commented saying, "So what about My Bloody Valentine, motherfucker?"
Oh, another one.
No, shut
you cocksucker!
No, we will do it. Listen,
we'll save them for Valentine's Day.
We have other original versus remakes. We will do it, but we're not going to
tell
person.
So many.
God damn it. We have so many, and I feel like Amityville Horror was a
we're gonna have to.
We need plugins. We need to do plugins. Not with the shirt off though.
Nope. All right.
So I'll flip it up. It's not off yet. It's just unbuttoned.
This
is the thing that we did in the 70s.
That is my opinion, guys. I picked the original. I picked the original over the remake. Personally, I love both. I really like.
I like how Joe's having a hard time looking at me on the screen.
House on Haunted Hill is another one. So we're gonna go ahead. To plugs. Ed, where can we find you?
Jesus Christ! Right now, I'm running the. I'm the one who runs the Bonded by Horror page on Instagram. A bunch of people already followed us tonight. Thank you very much. Hey, I don't know if we got all 5 that I asked for. Here's one shot of the nipple. You guys deserve it. You guys stuck with us this whole time. I got a weird like slanty fucking half quarter nipple. It's weird.
Oh god,
anyway, so it was at the end. It happened, Joe. I saved it for you. So go hit us up there. But all 3 of us, I relay to these guys. We have our own like message group between the 3 of us. I relay to these guys everything that I get, or talk about, or I'm going to do. I don't do anything on that page that we all don't agree on. So it's 100%. This is the 3 of us. The 3 of us are Bonded by Horror. The 3 of us are the dudes who are going to be continuing this on. And this is just something we're just getting going. This is only the 3rd episode. This is the first time. This is the first Friday night event that we've done with libations.
We will do this again, not as original as remake.
I would like to.
We're gonna do a couple more Friday night shows, but like big events, like we're not gonna fucking set a time limit on them. Like, most of the shows, just so everybody knows, we're gonna keep it to about an hour and a half max. Even with drinks, the events, which are the original versus remakes, are like whatever else we come up with. Yeah. Maybe it's like we'll talk.
I wrote them down.
Should we? I'm not good with the. What do we film this thing through? Discord. Can we tell people about Discord?
Yeah. Let's. I mean, we could start plugging it, but realistically, we won't start. We won't
coming
start,
soon. All right.
Yeah.
So, work in progress. Work in progress. We're gonna have a Discord available soon for the community. Sharing ideas, talking about movies, going back and forth, opinions. Listen, guys, we're open to everybody's opinions, but as long as everybody has like a fun time talking about movies, shit talk all you want, have a good time. But just don't be shitty to each other. Like, have a good time, respect each other's opinions. Yeah. Be a fucking family when it comes to, especially when it comes to horror. Horror and metal are the 2 things that I hold nearest to my heart. I wear my heart on my chest if you can't see.
No, we will keep everything for Bonded by Horror currently until episode. We actually already labeled it until episode 5.
We have 2 more episodes to do before everything starts getting put out.
Everything is going through Discord, where both Ed, myself, and Joe can all see it. So please, for the love of God, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please tell us through just the Instagram. Follow us. Yeah,
Instagram right now, and then we're gonna have a big like unveiling after the 5th episode. So 5th episode, we have 2 more to go, and we'll get into that in a minute. But I'm Eddie _Vegas on Instagram. I'm Big E 1984 on Twitter. I don't really use Twitter though, so if you want to follow me on there, you're more than welcome to. But if you want to add me on fucking Facebook, I'm just Eddie Sherman or Eddie Vegas on Facebook. You'll find me there. I also I wrestle. I fucking do another podcast called Three Dudes and Cold Brews Podcast. If you listen to that, listen to it with kids, open ears because there's some wild shit in there sometimes.
Yes, there is.
Long episodes. We do music breakdowns, very dorky, but on the metal side of the dorky. But we also talk about random shit. We do movie stuff. We've done movie commentaries on that. We've been doing that for almost 3 years now. Both of these guys have been guests on there. We have a phenomenal interview with Joe about his most recent book, which I'm going to pass the mic over to him and let him do his plugs to combine the two and bridge the gap. Go ahead.
All right, so you guys can find me on Facebook. Oh, where'd my thing go? There it is. I can never remember my handles. I apologize. So JC Walsh Author on Facebook, JCW Horror Writer on Twitter, JC Walsh 81 on Instagram, but also JC Walsh 81 on Slasher. I'm on Slasher. I keep forgetting to throw that out there. I'm on a Slasher.
We got to get on there. I forget all about that.
It's cool. It's cool. So I also I have 2 releases out currently. Death Highway, my first novella, and my second release, Within the Abyss, a Lovecraftian inspired collection. I also have
Death Highway. Go
Death
get
Highway, there it is.
Paperback version, and you have Kindle versions. On
that's
both,
right. All through Amazon. Thank you.
I'm here. Just keep going.
And so I'm on Rosemilia. I also do Horror Talk with him. We just break down 4 movies.
Shout out to Armand. He's a good dude.
Good guy, good mentor. We got a new episode coming out. I do his like monthly, so it's a little different. It's not as like crazy.
It's an entirely different show.
Yeah, and look, you can never get sick of like horror movie talk. Let me tell you. So we break down aquatic horror. That I don't know when that's coming out, but it'll be coming out sometime next week.
The Lighthouse one was great. The movie about the lighthouses, which I would love to do.
That's up on his YouTube. So yeah, we gotta break down Lighthouse in this thing too.
The fucking we're talking about the Willem Dafoe one, right? The one from 2019. That's one of the best horror movies in 20 years, if not longer. One of my favorite horror movies of all time. It's not even horror, but it's
it's horror, but it's I gotta throw a plug in for him and Chuck because they got a new book coming out May 4th.
Chuck Buddha.
Nice.
I've never met him, but Chuck Buddha.
Keyport Cthulhu 3. I provided the forward for that book, so that's exciting stuff.
Motherfuckers big time in over here. I don't even know.
Look at you.
I'm involved in an anthology May 28th. Dark Words.
Mm-hmm.
So with other 12 talented authors, urban legends and stuff. So that's coming out, and that's it. So that I had some. I told you guys at the end of the month we'd be telling some big stuff. So that's
we have a lot. We have a lot going on in your world, which is fucking amazing.
Yep.
That's awesome, man. I'm proud to call you my friend, and I'm proud of you as your friend. That you're doing so much, man, and
appreciate that.
It's a passion, and I've gotten to be by your side through most of it, through the journey, anyways, and it's impressive to see. You're one of the people that like anytime I'm like, man, like I don't have the fucking time for this, or what's the point of doing this project? Like, you don't know what's gonna happen until you just do it, man. Just
do it, and I still feel like that, and I got a lot of projects to do.
And I love it. So you're an inspiration to me when it comes to this kind of stuff. I wasn't born with the gift of the imaginative writing styles that you have. I was born with the gift of gab, which you all are probably.
Look, man, we're all creative here. It's all that matters. So
yeah, just in our own different ways. And I mean, I'm a voice professionally. Like I get paid to talk. So in many ways.
I will lead it off with this. You all know who I am at this point. If you're watching me live, you know who the fuck I am. I'm going to be cocky in saying this, but I will go from a quote from my favorite book. From
fuck me.
July 3rd of 2019.
Is that why I signed that thing?
To Ben, become a real fanboy and worship the red plane. You'll gain an incredible knowledge from my favorite published author, J.C. motherfucking Walsh.
Is that what I wrote? I don't remember what the fuck I read anymore. That's funny.
From my favorite published author, J.C. Walsh. Right here, you can all believe it.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I just want to say,
whenever you want me to record an actual.
Yeah. Can we please get that done?
Those audio. I have Three Dudes has an audiobook coming, but that's gonna be rough.
Yeah.
That's gonna be tough to get through.
Ah.
But a real one. You never know. Let me know. Rick
Mm.
needs to be part of the show.
Yep. This
You,
is.
you smell the red plane
good.
over there?
Oh, dude.
I'm waiting.
This is quite literally. I'm not kidding.
Basking in the ambience.
I'm not
Who's
kidding.
pushing
This is when I say this is my favorite book of the past decade.
I
I'm not
appreciate that.
kidding. I've actually
mic-
read a good amount of books, man. And I listen to audiobooks
I
every day.
appreciate that.
This is
Cat in the Hat, Green Eggs and Ham,
Oh,
Red
bro,
Plane.
you-
Oh shit!
Oh,
Oh,
we can't-
hardcore.
That's
Hard
right.
to-
this is my
out to
favorite
Matt.
book, and
Feels
that's
like blood and fire.
yep. That's not by bias. I've known Joe my entire life.
Shout out to Typo.
Yep.
No more Nights of Blood and Fire.
True. We got a little October rust here. This is my favorite book in the past decade. Everyone, I encourage you to go on Amazon and pick up Death Highway by J.C. Walsh.
It's
Not
on
for nothing.
sale. So
Listen, not only can you get it on
Phenomenal
paperback,
author.
not only can you get it on paperback, but you can also get it on Kindle and watch it on your little fucking iPads or whatever.
Amazing,
read it on the
amazing
iPad.
read.
you guys, thank you guys.
Guys, there
So-
there is not enough content here. If you know me, if you listen to this on YouTube, Spotify, anything like that, iTunes, who
Yeah.
gives a fuck? Daddy Scrooge, who gives a shit? Scrooge Champ.
Big Daddy Scrooge, baby.
Big Daddy Scrooge Champ, who cares?
No, motherfucker, you gotta say it with a Dusty Rhodes accent.
Big Daddy Scrooge Champ.
There you go.
Big Daddy Scrooge. I got hard
Scrooge,
times. I
Scrooge,
got hard
Scrooge Death
times.
Highway, baby.
Hard
Scrooge
times.
Death Highway, baby.
I'm Scrooge, baby. We're going to talk about Death Highway by J.C. Walsh. Please, for the love of God, I love you guys. Please read Death Highway by J.C. Walsh. I'm not kidding when this is my favorite book of the past fucking decade. I'm not kidding. I'm not saying this with bias. I'm not saying this because the author is here. I love it. I love it with all
He
my
would say
heart.
that. He would say that if Joe wasn't sick.
Dude, I'm
So
dead
I will
I
back him
fucking
up.
serious. I've
I'll
told
back
people
him up.
about this book. It's my favorite fucking book. I
Dude,
actually
I don't
read horror
read-
books.
You can tell by listening to me. I don't read shit.
I
just
love it.
listen and spew more bullshit. And I've read your book, and
Fuck
it is
me.
very
I don't
good.
care.
And I don't read books.
Say hi to
so.
me on
I listen
Twitch.
to audiobooks.
Well, everybody's fanboying me right now, so that's cute. Thank you, appreciate it.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Dude, I'm a
No,
fucking.
it is
I'm a
awesome.
legit
proud of you, man.
confirmed Neanderthal in DNA, and I can't write for
Me
shit.
too.
So I have legit authors come to me with their legit published work, and this is amazing. I've read such great tales from fucking Stephen King and the rest.
All right, don't put me up there.
No,
Don't-
no,
All right,
no,
all
no,
right.
no, no, from
Now
the
we
past
know-
decade.
well,
No
wait a minute.
cocksucker from the
Reel
past
in.
decade. No,
Reel
no,
in.
no, 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 no. Have you read the shit from the past decade from that guy?
Next thing you know, hold on. Next thing you're gonna say is your brother
Mm-mm.
has the voice of Winston Churchill. I do.
No,
But
no, Winston Churchill is pretty better. No, I'm
look at
saying
the philosophy.
no, I'm
of,
saying
you know.
no, but real talk, legit. Everyone listening, go pick up this book, legit.
No, but
Fuck me.
cheers to Joe
Cheers
and
to Joe.
whatever else you
You're-
have coming out,
you're a
man.
fucking-
I can't wait to.
So, cheers, my
I-
water.
You're
I
you're a
can't wait to plug more
mastercraft.
stuff that you have. Cheers, your water.
Yep.
Ben's gonna pee one more time. So here's what we have coming up. We actually, well, we
I'm
haven't
here, so.
actually we haven't come up with the next show yet. I don't
wanna
know what
pick?
we're gonna do yet.
It's realistically
kinda
it'd be your
pick one?
pick. Yeah. Yes, sir. if you
I'm
wanna do.
leaning. It's not necessarily my pick now that we've gotten 3 out. It's a 3 of us, but we have a couple to pick from. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have a little powwow, if you will, throwing back to the Indian stuff from the movies, and sit between the 3 of us and see what we have requested and see what we have built up. Because I have a fucking mountain of movies that I want to I was gonna just say tackle or talk about, and I just put in tackle. So there you go. I just combined the two. So I want to tackle a bunch of movies in discussions, and who knows? We might do. I like the Friday thing. It's easier to get people to come and hang out with us. To be totally honest, because normally we record the regular shows on like Sunday, Saturday mornings, but and those are cool too. Different vibes. We're gonna do both. We're gonna see what it's really whenever we have the time. So follow us, please. Again, we'll do another show next week. I would imagine we're gonna figure out between the 3 of us after tonight, whether it's probably be a Saturday show. Although, yeah, next weekend's gonna be kind of crazy. We'll figure it out. I mean, if Friday night works for everybody and if it's legit an hour, we can probably bang it right out again.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Next weekend's Mother's Day, so it's gonna be a lot going on. So But not to date the show or anything.
Well,
but
then let's just let's leave it as a surprise for
listen,
you guys.
stay tuned. Yeah, stay tuned. I mean, I threw out 13 Ghosts. There's a good chance we haven't done anything modern yet, so
Not a bad idea.
13 Ghosts is there in my brain. Or
If we're talking about modern,
if we're doing modern VFW, I would love to talk about that movie.
I'd like to
we
talk
haven't
about
done anything like that yet.
Hereditary.
Hereditary is a good one, but that's big. I would prefer The Witch over Hereditary if we were gonna do that modern.
What, A24?
Oh, what's the
Yeah,
You don't want to hear my opinion on A24. Well, besides Hereditary.
Hereditary
those
is
at some point.
A24.
I like
That's
the
what I'm
idea.
saying,
We stick
besides.
with,
Yeah.
like, we stick with stuff a little older.
Yeah,
maybe
when I
do 13
mean
Ghosts.
what I mean by modern, I mean like we just realistically this show is mostly about the OG Amityville, so we're talking 70s. So yes, we talk about a 2005 movie, but like the show wasn't focally about that movie. So if we've got to like breach into that. I like talking about the older movies. I want to shed light on the older movies. There's a lot of them. Like they need the light. They need the fucking the life breathe. Brought back into them.
We'll message
So,
between. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's either going to be something like 13 Ghosts, or I have a couple random 80s movies that I haven't
All right.
I haven't seen that I kind of want to talk about, or that I have seen. Like I wouldn't mind talking about what is it, the fucking well, I'm not gonna get it. Well, I have a bunch.
We'll leave it. We'll leave this one up to Eddie. We'll leave this one
Yeah,
up to Eddie.
I'll leave this to you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come up with a couple ideas. Here's what I'll do. I'm gonna come up with 3 ideas. I'm gonna put it in our message group tonight or tomorrow, and you guys decide. We're leaning towards 13 Ghosts, though. I'll be totally honest.
All right.
Let's just name it. 13 Ghosts. Want to just name it? You guys cool with that?
13 Ghosts.
Next weekend we're gonna do 13 Ghosts.
13 Ghosts. All right.
All right, guys. So we're gonna do 13 Ghosts. That's gonna be a fucking wild one, because that's a wild movie.
It's a wild movie.
I haven't watched that shit in a
I'm
while.
excited about that. I'm excited that that we threw that out. That's good. Hey guys, let's wrap this one up. Are we gonna hang out for like 2 minutes afterwards? I know I'm fucking ready to fucking get off these things. I've had these on in my head all day.
Yeah, we'll talk real quick and then.
Yeah.
Real quick.
All right, guys.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Peace and love. Go fucking go watch some horror movies, and go like, subscribe, whatever, to all of our stuff, and then be ready, because once the fucking floodgates open, we're gonna really we're gonna open. We're gonna be everywhere. So thank you very much, guys. We appreciate it. Rock on, and have a good night.
Stay bloody, my friends. Hey, that's a little call sign. All right, bye guys. I love you. All right, bye guys.